4 perfectly seasoned Cajun-fried whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to protect people's health, to preserve magnificent places and wildlife, and to combat climate change. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the Earth needs a good lawyer.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Today is a WRAL weather alert day. That rain continues all the way through this evening, tonight, and even into tomorrow. It's cool out there this afternoon, too, with a high of just 64. 60 degrees overnight with some scattered showers. And tomorrow, expect afternoon and evening thunderstorms with a high of 77.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 701 points to 42,304.
Now he'll back in one up Stankoven. Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven. He gets it to Ekblad and Martinook with a sliding block to knock it to the board. Xander Barkov trying to turn. Slavin takes him down to the ice neatly. Empty net. Jarvis across. Svechnikov hands it off. Empty net. Bingo! Carolina. Sebastian Aho. Another empty net for Carolina. And here's a chance for Stahl. The captain carries it in and bingo!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It's a Tuesday, but it is not just any Tuesday. It is a Canes Victory Tuesday. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. Celebrate, Canes fans. Celebrate. So be happy. The streak is over. They shut out the Florida Panthers in Game 4. Nikishin played really well. Stankoven played really well. Slavin is a superhero. And the Canes won their first Eastern Conference Finals game in 16 tries. That is warrant for celebration. It is okay to be happy. It did feel like, as excited as everybody was for Game 4 and the win and how it turned out and the 2 empty netters to seal it and all of those things, there was a little reserve there because you don't want to be too happy when you're down in the series 3-1 still. You don't want to be smiling when you're down in this. No, celebrate. Eastern Conference Finals or Conference Finals wins are difficult to find. Matter of fact, the streak that the Canes just broke shows how difficult it is to win in the Eastern Conference Finals. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. We have all day tomorrow to worry and nitpick about Game 5 and to think about what's going to carry over and how much did this impact that. And we can dissect till we're blue in the face. But the fact of the matter is, the last Eastern Conference Finals game that the Carolina Hurricanes won, Rod Brindamore scored the game winner. And if you wait that long for something, you don't want to breeze through it. You don't want to breeze through it at all. We will have the other conversation. Right? The one about, nitpicking, I guess. But first, the Canes won a conference finals game. Days since, I had fun with this. Days since The Carolina Hurricanes have won an Eastern Conference Finals game, 0. Days since the Toronto Maple Leafs have won an Eastern Conference Finals game, 8,403. Right? That's the kind of perspective to have on it right now. You get 24 hours to celebrate. Give yourself that. Talk a little trash. By the way, that was ironically back in 2002 when they beat the Canes, but then the Canes won the series to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. So there's a whole bunch of ways you can twist the knife if you have any friends that are Maple Leafs fans.
Take that for data.
Yeah, we got numbers. But to put it in more perspective, the Blue Jackets, the Wild, they each jumped into the league in 2000. Since then, they've won 0 conference finals games, which tells you right now what the Canes did last night would be the high water mark for multiple franchises in the NHL. I don't want to include like Utah, right? And brand new. And I guess they did get one in 2012 as the Phoenix Coyotes. But Detroit, Buffalo, Calgary, they've all gone at least since I was in high school. I'm in my mid-30s with 2 kids, at least since I was in high school. Have they won a conference finals game? That is something to celebrate. I'm not going to call out the show or the station, but there's a Washington, D.C. sports radio show that today was asking if the Commanders got a bad draw with their tough preseason schedule. Do you know why they had to ask those questions and they're digging? It's because the Caps lost in the second round and they're not in the conference finals to continue. The Canes are still playing hockey. Celebrate it. Celebrate it. And by the way, there's at the very least, right? Going into game 4, we completely readjusted our expectations and our goals, right? You start maybe throttling back on winning the series, although anything is possible, and you start talking about win one, end the streak. You start talking about get the young guys experience. You start talking about the core maybe overcoming some of the demons that have been facing them in the Eastern Conference Finals. So if and when they reach there again, they don't have that hanging over their head. They did that. Do you know who scored the first goal for the Canes? Logan Stankoven. You know who got the primary assist? Alexander Nikishin. You know what those two guys have in common? They're rookies. Rookies. It's like a time machine into the future of the Carolina Hurricanes, and you saw it in an Eastern Conference Finals win. Celebrate that. Do you think rookies are going to get better or worse? The hope is better.
Hope is better.
The hope is better. The hope is they have all their development in front of them, right? They're only going to get better with experience, and they're only going to get better with aid and development from the coaching staff and the veterans. They're only going to get better. And 2 rookies just connected to score the first goal in an Eastern Conference Finals win. Rod Brindamore yesterday talking about the impressiveness of Nikishin and Stankoven in what ended up being the 3-0 win in the end.
Not looking like rookies. I mean, Stanker's had a little more experience. We've been through this a little bit, but Nikishin that has been pretty impressive, especially the amount of minutes that we're getting kind of forced to play. And both those guys were excellent tonight.
You're darn right they were. You darn right they were. Let's hear some from one of the veterans and veteran in NHL experience, maybe not as much in age, as he'll point out here. Seth Jarvis on the 2 young guys earlier today.
I'm only a year older than these guys, man. I don't know why you think I'm 40. Last year it was crazy. Younger than me. Yeah, I mean, they I understand what they're going through, but I think they all these young guys nowadays have all these crazy personalities and they handle the pressure really well. So they've done a great job at succumbing to whatever's going around them and performing well.
It is okay to let your imagination run wild. Seth Jarvis just brought up a great point. Alexander Nikishin's older than Seth Jarvis.
Yeah, it was Jordan Martinook said, I think you're younger than Nicky.
Alexander Nikishin is older than Seth Jarvis. And that's not me sitting here saying like Nikishin is actually really old. That's me saying don't forget how young Seth Jarvis is.
Yeah, they were drafted the same year, 2020.
That is me saying there's a lot of youth on this Carolina Hurricanes. They had 4 rookies play in the game on last night, the game 4 that they won. That is the most in decades that a team has played. The most rookies in over a decade that have been in an Eastern or Western Conference Finals victory. Be happy. Now, I like, there's always that next step. And yes, Game 5 is tomorrow, and they should probably already be turning the page and full speed ahead towards Game 5. But for the fans, let your imaginations wander. These wins don't come around often. Matter of fact, I was talking with Dennis. I went and found the last conference finals win for every team in the NHL. And yeah, a handful of them this year, right? The 4 of them, they all have at least one win this season. But there are teams, there are franchises that are looked upon as very, very good and consistently very, very good. And you'd be surprised. Pittsburgh, 2017. We're in 2025. You're looking at almost a decade since the Pittsburgh Penguins with Sidney Crosby has won a conference finals game. Right? There are teams, even something like Tampa Bay. It feels like Tampa Bay was winning cups yesterday. It's been 3 years since they won a conference finals game. They haven't won since 2022 in the conference finals. There's a lot of examples like that. Colorado since 2022. There are programs, there are franchises that seem to do things the right way and be the envy of the league, and they still don't get done what the Canes got done last night. So I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, a broken record. I am not doing that kind of by happenstance. I am trying to hammer home the fact that, yeah, you're down 3-1, but there's something to be said for winning that one the way they did. In between games 3 and 4, I put out a tweet that basically said, we're going to learn a lot about this team by how they show up on Monday. It's not about them as hockey players. We know the strengths and weaknesses. There's very few surprises. Maybe Nikishin would be the one that we're still learning about as a hockey player. But everybody else, we've seen a massive sample size. We know what they bring to the table. We know who can skate. We know who's physical. We know. We're not going to learn anything about them as hockey players. What we're going to learn is about them as competitors. And I can tell you right now, I said that between Game 3 and Game 4. You can go check the replies. Not many people were expecting the Canes to bow their neck, fight, scrap, and win Game 4. But that's exactly what they did. Does it make up for Games 1 through 3? No. Does it win you the series? We know that's not true. But is it worth something? You're darn right it is. You're darn right it is. Pride, honor, whatever you want to call it. Competitive spirit, never say die. You can describe it a million different fortune cookie ways. But it's worth something. And Canes fans should be proud of how they played in Game 4. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What was the biggest difference between the Canes in Game 3, where they fell apart in period 3 and lost 6-2, and Game 4? My answer might surprise you. That's coming up next right here on The Drive. Don't go anywhere.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons at 12:15 and 4:15 for our Cup Check-In. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Adam Gold talks with hockey's best, past and present, bringing you the latest insight on the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the Cup Check-In on 99.9 The Fan. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs, or visit carolinaalehouse.com/Canes.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and it's Tuesday, right? No. It is better than Tuesday because it is Dinger Tuesday, and Dinger Tuesdays give all FanDuel customers an extra home run profit boost. That means when you bet on the right guy to go deep, touch 'em all, grand salami, you take your winnings to new heights. So, FanDuel.com/Adam Gold, FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Choose the right player and go deep and make more money. Make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book and official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Keishan back in his own zone, makes a nice play away from Rodriguez.
Keishan looks the part again. There he goes.
Now he'll back in one up Stankoven. Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven! And for the first time in this series, the Canes have a lead.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, we have a Tuesday sound off coming up. I know we normally do a Monday sound off where at 3:30 we open up the phone lines and we let you kind of lead the show, meaning callers get to call in with any questions they have, Canes related, any other sport related. Today, since it is our first show of the week, we're switching it up and doing a Tuesday sound off because we didn't have a show on Monday and we want to give you the opportunity to sound off. So 3:30, coming up about 15 minutes. Bookmark this number, 919-860-5326. Bookmark that number, 919-860-5326. It's the Heastra Automotive Group hotline. We'll open it up for you in about 15 minutes. That goal felt so good. Let's just that just rehearing that intro. It felt so good. And guess what felt nearly as good? When we thought Jankowski scored the second. And then they took it away, and it felt nearly as bad, but the Canes held on, which makes it okay in the end. What was the biggest difference between Game 3 and Game 4? You know, for a team that felt like they were struggling so hard to generate anything offensively, you'd think that the difference between a game that you got smoked and a game that you win would probably be you found a way to do that. That was a difference, don't get me wrong. They were better offensively, better possessing the puck in the offensive zone, better at those sorts of things. But give credit to the blue line and to Freddie Anderson. There is a distinct turning defense to offense level of the Canes that worked. And there is a distinct frustrating the Panthers on offense led to a seemingly frustration-style game from them in all aspects of their play. The biggest difference between Game 1 through 3 and Game 4, not the forwards, to me it was the defense and Freddie in net. And I want to stand up for Freddie real quick here. because the number one thing I've heard, and they're attempting to compliment him, about Freddie Andersen after Game 4 was he made the saves he needed to make. He made them all. It was a shutout. He made the ones he had to make, the ones he didn't have to make. He made every single when you say he made the saves he needed to make, it sounds like he gave up 3, but then like tightened up in the last 10 minutes and made a couple good saves in like a 1-goal game. The dude didn't allow a goal. Give him his praise. He made every save. Every single one. Which I guess technically is making the saves he needed to make. Like, you're not lying, but you're not giving the full story either.
Yeah, he needed to make all 20.
But maybe he didn't, right? Because the Canes scored at least one kind of straight up. So if it goes 1-1 and it goes into, you don't know how many he needed. He made every save. Every single one. The rest of the blue line, stand up and take a bow. And matter of fact, Jacob Slavin, take 2. Jacob Slavin's going to get the curtain call. That was an unbelievable performance. He is a superstar. Blocking that many shots, the amount of times the broadcast wasn't even excited by it. Just a casual, like, here's a rip from Barkov, there's Slavin. Marchand on the left side, there's Slavin. And it was routine, but what he was doing was literally like building new bruises across his body. He was just taking shot after shot as a superstar, just to the shoulder, to the arm, to the stomach, to the stick, to everywhere.
It's hard to truly quantify how many goals he stopped.
I don't even.
I mean, you can see ones that are clear, but you never know if it gets past him, if it gets deflected, if there's a rebound that goes in. It's so hard to quantify how many he stopped, but my goodness, it was a lot.
It is kind of like the conversation for a great shot blocker in basketball, where you're going like, he had 4 blocks and affected countless others, and you just kind of take it as like guys weren't going to the rim because they didn't want to get there. Like, Slavin has some of that. By the way, he bodied Alexander Barkov, which is not easy, despite how Slavin made it look. The way, ironically, if you watch the post game on TNT, Kevin Weeks, former Cane, was talking about the calmness of Freddie in net. How Freddie, just was kind of low heart rate, chill, just making plays. I think that's a perfect way to describe Slavin. He's guarding like Barkov 1-on-1. Which most players, if you're a defenseman and you're 1-on-1 with a player like that, your adrenaline is ripping, and Slavin's just like, all right, I'm gonna wait till he, shows me what he's gonna do. Then I'm gonna get my position perfectly, and I'm gonna poke it away, and we're gonna get it going in the opposite direction. And if I miss, then I'm gonna, he does a lot of spinning with then throwing the stick back the other way, or I'll take a knee and take the shot off my chest. Like he's just calm. Slavin, after the game, talked about being comfortable playing in close games, which I think was wildly obvious.
1,000%. I mean, it was 1-0 up until the end there, and so you can't get any tighter than that. But no, I mean, everyone bared down, and penalty kill was huge tonight, and everyone just did their job, and we got one. And so that's one step, but we got a long road ahead of us. We just got to keep playing that way.
He is a star. In a different way, give Dmitry Orlov his props. Now, obviously, I don't think Orlov was as good as Slavin last night. I don't know if he could have been. But Orlov compared to Game 3 Orlov, 1,000% better. 1,000% better. I thought his physicality was a tone setter. Orlov you could tell he was mad about Game 3. He was going to take it out on somebody. I don't know if he knew they were going to win the game, but he was going to leave with a couple bodies. He was going to leave with a couple dudes on the ground. And that is an important part of Orlov's game. We have to talk about Alexander Nikishin if we're talking blue liners. 3rd NHL game. Any kind. Postseason, regular season, preseason. Heck, you could include AHL. 3rd game in North America for that guy. And there were moments where he looked like as talented as anyone else on the ice. The pass he made to set up Logan Stankoven's goal. I mean, goodness gracious. Dennis made a great point, and I didn't even notice it in real time. He made that pass, and then got off the ice before the goal was scored.
Yeah, he actually changed.
So he didn't get the +1 on his plus-minus, despite the fact that he has the primary assist and was a huge part of the reason the goal was scored. And that right there, it's one of my favorite movies to quote. It's Moneyball-ish, right? Where the guy, he hits the ball and he's digging it out, right? He never does it, but he's going to try to stretch a single to a double, and he falls at first, and he embarrasses himself, and he crawls back to first base, and he tries to hit. And what's the moral of the story? The ball went 40 feet over center field fence, and the guy just had no idea when he made contact with it that he hammered it that well. That's kind of what Nikishin did. Nikishin made a pass and thought it was just another run-of-the-mill pass and went and changed and got off the ice, turned around. Turns out he had found a wide-open Logan Stankoven with a no-look pass from tape to tape, just perfect. And Stankoven went and buried it off the post. And Nikishin's making it, hopping over the bench going like, oh, what happened? Had no clue. Brent Burns didn't make the big dumb turnover at times that he has made and played 25 minutes at 40 years old. Shane Gostisbehere, I don't know if there's specific things to point to, but he was out there doing everything he could. Just out of Dennis, you brought up he was killing penalties. Which
out
is
there blocking shots, killing penalties,
which is not Gostisbehere's job.
No,
not what he does, and not what his skill set would imply. Obviously, for that game, it was his job,
and he's even said so himself.
It strikes me as like the perimeter 3-point shooting wing who, due to foul trouble, has to go down and guard a big, and he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing down here, but I'm gonna hustle and I'm gonna push and I'm gonna do my best guarding this 7-footer at 6'5". But if it's what the team needs, it's what the team needs. I was really impressed. And Scott Morrow, in what was essentially 8 minutes of high stakes hockey, because he played after they scored the second over empty netter till the end. In 8 minutes, he gave it as good a try as he could have. There was at least one shot that got through from the point that looked confident. It was a good day for the blue line, up and down. Great day for some of them. Grinding day for some of them, but all of them deserve their flowers. Give them their praise, including Freddie. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll get to your thoughts. If you want to highlight something else with the Canes, another player that was key to victory or a worry for Game 5, whatever you want, we want to hear it. 919-860-5326. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open for a Tuesday sound-off. Not just Canes talk. If you have basketball conversations you want to get to, OTAs have started for the Panthers. ACC has a lot of action going on, baseball and otherwise. Whatever you want to talk about, it's a Tuesday sound-off. Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Phone lines are open now. We'll get to it coming up next. Stick around.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the postgame mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Ugh, wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Hey, which way is your waiting room?
Oh, you can stay in your car. It only takes 10 minutes.
I can stay in? Get out. I better find a good playlist to listen to while I wait. EDM? Nah. Oh, what about something classical? Nah. You got any suggestions?
Dad rock?
Now you speaking my language.
Take 5. The stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change.
Make your next tailgate more electric when you plug into a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Not only do they light up the scoreboard with outstanding payload and towing numbers, with available Pro Power on board, you can turn these Ford trucks into mobile generators to give your tailgate party an extra boost of energy. Visit your Carolina Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for great offers and to learn more about F-150 and Super Duty. See owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Sharp bounce off the boards. In a fight for it with Barkov. It comes out to Rodriguez. He gets it to Ekblad. And Martinook with a sliding block to knock it to the board.
What a block from 48.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Victory Tuesday. Game 4 winners, Carolina Hurricanes. Take that, Florida Panthers. Sure, you're up 3-1, but what have you done for me lately? Every other Eastern Conference team wants to talk trash. If your name isn't the Florida Panthers or the Carolina Hurricanes, your players are golfing.
Take that, Paul Bissonnette.
Take that, Paul Missed the Net. Hey, Ryan Whitney. How you like me now? Where's PK Subban when you need him? Take that. No, it may sound ridiculous to be down 3-1 and talking trash, but the fact of the matter is there are 28 teams in the NHL that do not have a conference finals, even a single game won this year, and you're someone that does, Carolina Hurricanes, so enjoy that. We want to hear from you. Heaster Automotive Group hotline is open, 919-860-5326, something we call a Tuesday sound-off, normally Monday sound-off, but we didn't have a show yesterday, so we're doing it today. We'll give Dennis another minute or two here to organize the lines and get everybody set up on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline. Again, 919-860-5326. Call in if you want to. Because after we give you 2 minutes of gold on last night's win from our very own Adam Gold, we are going to hear from you. 2 minutes of gold right here, right now.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for two players who were stars in Game 4 and another player who was just too much as the Hurricanes stayed alive in the series with a 3-0 win, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. All right, the first two players, man, it should go without saying, but Alexander Nikishin, the big Russian kid who has played now in 3 NHL playoff games, never an NHL game, was one of the real stories of Carolina's 3-0 win. Not only was he solid on the defensive end, and he was solid, he makes this play to Logan Stanko.
Nikishin back in his own zone makes a nice play away from Rodriguez.
Nikishin looks the part again. There he goes.
Now he'll backhand one up Stankoven. Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven! And for the first time in this series, the Canes have a lead. It's 1-0. Carolina on another bullet by Logan Stankoven.
Nikishin with his first point in the NHL. What a pass he made across the ice to the red-hot Logan Stankoven, who goes top cheese for your first lead in the series.
The pass was arguably better than the shot, and the shot was elite, as Stankoven continues to be arguably Carolina's best forward so far in this series. Look, that's not a high bar to climb because the Hurricanes have not been great offensively in this series. They have scored just 7 goals, 2 of them into an empty net. But that was an elite shot. Remember, Stankoven scored the goal that got Carolina even in Game 3. Then he goes just off the inside of the near post and off the back bar to beat Bobrovsky. That made it 1-0. And how about that? Carolina has the lead for the first time. That Nikishin pass, though, was next level. Now for the player who was just too good last night as we continue the twos, Jacob Slavin. 28 minutes, 6-10, shorthanded. Carolina was shorthanded for 8 minutes. He played 75% of the shorthanded minutes, and he was a star. Don't believe me? Ask Alexander Barkov.
Alexander Barkov trying to turn. Slavin takes him down to the ice neatly. Schmidt will keep it in across for Bolinski's. His shot through traffic. Rebound was available as it was off the catching glove of Anderson.
What a play by Slavin. Saved a goal after being physical on Barkov.
That play summed up number 74's night. He was the best player on skates. No second place. He was that good. They're going to need that going forward. But look, we get a 5th game of the series. We get to watch a hockey game Wednesday night at Lenovo Center. Whatever happens, happens. The Hurricanes gave us one more reason to love them. With over 20 years in the business, Parkway Sleep Health Centers are the Triangle's top sleep provider. Parkway Sleep Health Centers, sound sleep, sound health, sound off for a Game 5 and another chance to watch Jacob Slavin do his thing.
That's 2 minutes of gold with Adam Gold, all about last night's Game 4 Eastern Conference Finals victory for the Carolina Hurricanes. Right now, it's time for your thoughts on everything. Carolina Hurricanes or anything else in the sports world. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open for a Tuesday sound-off, 919-860-5326. Our first caller, Linda in Roanoke, for those of you that are maybe not used to listening during a Monday sound-off, Debbie, who is Linda's daughter, has called in and let us know that Linda in Roanoke is battling cancer, and she has latched on to the Canes run as a source of escape and inspiration as she fights cancer. So Debbie and Linda have very much become part of the show. Obviously, we are rooting and supporting Linda, and Linda from Roanoke is on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Welcome to the show, Linda. We are still thinking and rooting for you. How are things going?
They're going great. I had a CAT scan today. I'm hoping for good results. I just want to shout out to the entire Canes team. I listened to the game last night again, and it was wonderful. I am still on cloud 9. I do not want to say just Game 5. We are going to defeat the Flyers and get in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Linda, I because you said it, I believe more. So thank you very much for calling in. Keep up the hope, the inspiration, and everything. We're still pulling for you.
Thank Thank you very much, and go Canes!
Go Canes. I'm not joking there. Because Linda said it, I'm now more of a believer. Still think we got to focus on Game 5, but if she said it, I'm more of a believer now. Thank you very much, Linda, and shout out to Debbie as well. When we were out at the Lenovo Center, Debbie, the daughter of Linda, did come up and say hi, so becoming part of the show. Let's jump into the Heister Automotive Group hotline for a Tuesday sound off. We'll start with Susie in Holly Springs. Wants to start talking a little Tar Heel baseball. Susie, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
The UNC baseball team won the ACC championship, beat Clemson by 10 runs. It was a great game.
Absolutely did. Any specifics you want to highlight, or are you going to let me hype up the Tar Heels a little bit and you can listen?
You go for it. I'll listen.
Sounds good. Perfect. Thank you very much for the call, Susie. Not only was it a 10-run victory, it was 14-zippy at one point in time before, you got to pull off the gas a little bit, I guess. But I checked the score, and it was 14-0 over Clemson. Dennis, that's the state of North Carolina over the state of South Carolina.
I approve.
There you go. There's a lot of good for the Tar Heels. I believe they're hosting, correct? Hosting in
number
the
5 seed overall.
There you go. In the College Baseball World Series, got the regionals coming up, and at least part of the action comes through Chapel Hill. Shout out to UNC. UNC had a very good weekend as an athletics program. We'll talk about that a little later on. Back to the call-in line, which is open for all of your calls, 919-860-5326. Encourage you to call in. We have Dean in Rocky Mount. Dean, thank you very much for calling in. Says you want to sound off on the Canes, so go ahead. The floor is yours.
Canes won a pivotal Game 4 to escape off elimination and cut Florida's commanding lead to 3-1. But I have been super impressed by Alexander Nikishin. And scratch your head to why he hasn't been playing in Game 1 and 2. But I believe that topic alone. And it was a bounce-back night for Dmitry Orlov. I had pointed out in the middle of the third period after the second goal, which ended up being disallowed, that I was very impressed with his game and how he was able to calm things down when Florida tried to start a scrap after the goal. And it was really important for him to have such a good game as he did. But I'm honestly curious right now with you have Sean Walker, come back into game number 5, and you still have some questions about Shane Gostisbehere. Do you go to Alexander Nikishin? I mean, he spoke in the locker room. I mean, it didn't look like there'd be some communications issues based on how he spoke. So I'll leave that up to you, Tim.
All right,
love what you guys do.
I appreciate the call. For those of you that missed the inside joke there at the beginning, I do point out that during the playoffs, certain words are overused. Pivotal, commanding, and staving are used way too much. By the way, I'll throw Game 4. I don't think was pivotal. It was like a must win for the Canes too. But the odds on who wins the series didn't change drastically because they won Game 4. Maybe Game 5 could be pivotal. Commanding 3-1 and 3-0 are both commanding is basically what I'm getting at. What he said about Nikishin, though, he was saying if Sean Walker comes back, does Nikishin stay in?
Oh, I say, would you leave or take out Shane Gostisbehere?
If Sean Walker comes back, Nikishin stays in, Scott Morrow's out.
That'd be my assumption.
If Sean Walker and Jalen Chatfield come back, I think Nikishin's probably out. As bad as that feels, because he brings that pop of wow. Chatfield and Walker are in. That is for sure. And I just don't know. I mean, Gostisbehere does so much more in your special teams. There's it won't feel good because you want to just let Nikishin go wild. But if they're both back, I think Nikishin goes back to the bench, which is crazy to say out loud. I also would be surprised at this point if both of them are back for Game 5.
Yeah, it's extremely doubtful. Rob Brindamore kind of hinted at that a little bit earlier today as well.
Did he hint that both are doubtful or
that both?
Either? Okay.
Both. Here's the thing. Neither of them skated yesterday at all, even for a morning skate. Neither of them skated yesterday, which is not a great sign. There's a morning skate tomorrow. We'll see. If neither of those guys are on the ice tomorrow morning, you can just, sure as heck count those guys out. But if one of those guys does come back, if it's Walker or Chatfield, to me, Nikishin has earned the right to stay in with how he's played. And here's the thing. keep this in mind as well about him earning Rod Brind'Amour's trust. Rod yesterday did talk about, hey, look, after that first game, it was rough. That Game 5 against Washington, he didn't play very well. And he had every reason justifiable to say, you know what, I'm going to go with the guy that I know in Scott Morrow. And obviously, Rod said
something's changed in those rankings.
Exactly. You know what? That's changed. And Rod said, hey, you know what? If he was going to play like that every single time, then maybe I would have. But there's no way of knowing, and it's hard to figure that out when you're in the playoffs. That's the biggest thing. But if Morrow or Chatfield, if Chatfield or Walker are back tomorrow, one of those guys, to me, Nikishin stays in the lineup. He's earned that.
For sure. I think that much is super obvious.
One guy played 10 shifts in the third period yesterday. The other played 2. The guy that played 10 shifts in the third period was Nikishin. The guy that played 2 shifts in the third was Scott Morrow. And one of those shifts came after the Canes took a 3-0 lead.
I mean, Nikishin was in there for a penalty kill.
Yeah.
I believe there was a minute or two there where I saw him skating with Slavin. Like, there's Nikishin pregame to end of game had earned a lot more responsibility. We'll leave it there, but we'll come back to it later. Back to the call-in line. By the way, it is a Tuesday sound-off. I know we normally do this on Monday, but we didn't have a show yesterday. So we're asking for your calls. You lead the conversation. Heister Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326. Call in now, 919-860-5326. Next up, been patiently waiting, John in Raleigh. John, you want to sound off on the Canes? Thank you for calling in. The floor is yours.
First of all, season ticket holder for 5 years. Been in most of the games before that. Even went to the Ice Caps games all the time. So learned a little bit about hockey over the years. First of all, kudos to the team last night. I think they played differently. Their style to me was more angry. Like the first 3 games, I thought it was more scared or nervous, depending on who was coming at them. I would like to see more shots on the goal. Aho and Spetch have got to quit being fancy, put it on the goal, and let the other guys come in and hit it. And the second thing they've got to do is get that net present, let Florida knock them into Bob and mess him up, knock them, cross-check them into Bob and get him, you got to shake him up a little bit. But more shots and get in Bob's face a little bit, and we maybe could win another game or two.
All right, John, appreciate it. You hit on a lot of stuff there that's going to be fun to talk about. So thank you very much for calling in. Call back in anytime. First, we missed because of the holiday, right? And Game 3 and Game 4 both being over the 3-day weekend, Saturday and Monday. We missed what would have been a really interesting conversation about the physicality that maybe wasn't there in Game 3, particularly standing up for Aho and Svetch when the Panthers started retaliating at the end of the third period, right? And how Aho was kind of getting ground and pound by Tkachuk, and nobody flew over there. And then, of course, after the game, the guys at the desk immediately turned to that as an issue. We missed that whole conversation because by the time Game 4 came around, Martinuk and Orlov and a few other guys kind of took it upon themselves early on to set the tone. But Taylor Hall said between Game 3 and Game 4, like, that's a tough look for us, that Aho and Svetch were kind of getting roughed up and nobody went to their aid. You didn't see as much of that in Game 4, mostly because it was a close game and it never really got out of hand, so there was never a time where it felt like decent to settle any of those scores. But that was a big deal between Game 3 and Game 4. And then what he said about Aho and Svetch shooting the puck. I'm starting to think it's not as omnipresent. It's not as often as maybe it feels. But there are 2 or 3 obvious shooting situations that they just pass 5 times too many. Right? A 3-on-1. Svetch leaves like a super tough pass to handle for Robinson. Svetch, shoot the puck. Right? Aho, just a billion too many extra passes on some of these odd man rushes that they have. Just shoot the that's what you're supposed to do. Right? You're the best scorers on the team. Go score. There's a few of those. Even the empty netter. Why did they passed it 100 times on an empty netter? What are we doing here? Made a difficult pass to Sebastian Aho for no reason. Shoot the puck. We need to get Canes fans in Florida, if it goes back there, so they can start the shoot the puck chant that they started in Game 3 when necessary out there on enemy territory. What do we have here? We have Philip. Do we want to give the full name here? Is that why you put it in the notes? All right, Philip Boyne in Raleigh wants to talk Canes. So, Philip, the floor is yours. Go ahead and sound off.
Hello, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. First off, quick shout out to Dennis Cox. Dennis is my friend doing improv. He's a great co-host. Love hearing about the old talk.
My friend doing
anyway.
improv. All right, cool.
Yeah, so I actually didn't. I'm a diehard Canes fan. I didn't watch the game at all last night. I was on vacation with my wife. But the reason why I'm calling in is if the Canes go far, I'm going to claim good luck. And if they don't go any farther, I'm just going to say it's pure coincidence. But we went to Toronto, and I went to the Hockey Hall of Fame. And since I touched the Stanley Cup, the Hurricanes are undefeated. maybe there's that. Maybe that's what it needs to be. I say that as a joke, but I just want to thank y'all. Y'all do great work, and I love listening to y'all talk. Y'all have great analysis. I don't know how you can talk about the Canes all day and still come up with new stuff, but you do it, so great job. Kudos.
Thank you very much, Philip. Those very nice words.
Thank you.
Touch the cup, and since then the Canes are undefeated. I mean, ipso facto, right?
Don't wash your hands, Philip.
Anything that happened since then is because of. And also the Canes give us plenty to talk about. Like I don't want to sit here and act like we're stretching facts. They are an interesting bunch. That is for certain. They give us plenty of content. Back to the Heister Automotive Group hotline. It is Tuesday Sound Off, open for your calls, 919-860-5326. John in Goldsboro wants to sound off on the Canes. John, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and take it away.
Oh, I think we got a reverse sweep coming on our hands, boys. Stanky has proven that if you go up top on Bob, you can do just like your liquor, go top shelf on him, and you'll score. You'll score. That's what you need to do. So Stanky proved it to him finally. The curse is lifted. Let's do a reverse. Game 7's on my birthday on Sunday, June the 1st. It's going to happen. Going to win it reverse. We reverse the curse, reverse sweep. Let's go. In Rod we trust. Thank you for the win, baby. Woo!
Love it, John. Absolutely love it. Thank you for the win. Few things. One, I refuse to have any Rod job security conversations till we're well past the season ending. Then if you want to make ridiculous arguments, I will debunk those ridiculous arguments. But I'm not saying that to John. I'm saying that to everybody else that wants to have them. Two, I'm not sure you just blanket always go top shelf on Bob. But if you can place it where Stanky placed it, do that every time. Like that is the Nikishin pass to set up Stanky and then the Stankoven shot. Those are two super high level hockey plays. Both of them, independent of the other. You put them together, that's going to score goals against darn near everybody. If you can place it where Stankoven placed it, you do it. And if a goalie stops it, you tip your cap and say that's unbelievable. But that was a high-level snipe. And maybe it did. Maybe it did. Hit a little bit of the metaphorical, the seal is broken, he's no longer invincible. Maybe. Maybe that's what the win does, right? That Eastern Conference voodoo thing, that whatever was over the Canes. Maybe all of that suddenly lifts it off their shoulders. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see tomorrow. Edward and Wendell, you are next up on the Heister Automotive Group hotline for a Monday sound off. Edward and Wendell, go ahead and sound off on the Canes. We'd love to hear from you.
I think we got to put it together more. Good win, but I think the reason why we've lost games 1, 2, and 3 is because we've gotten so close. It's like a tap and birdie putt that just slips out, and we're making careless mistakes that are like that. If we fix, we can win. Florida has less wins than us, believe it or not. And if we can take advantage of what they don't do well, I think we have a good shot of winning.
Edward, you know I'm a fan of your analysis. You bring the well-measured takes every single time. Thank you very much for calling in, and as always, call in anytime. I'll build off of what you said. Do you know who actually Edward sounds a bit like? Henrik Lundqvist on the the broadcast last night. The thing that the King, right? That he was saying about the Canes most often was in games 1 through 3, they beat themselves in a lot of ways, and they didn't do that in game 4. And that's where Hendrick was going most often with the difference between games 1 through 3 and games 4. And I think that's what Edward was kind of getting at there, saying, all right, a lot of those mistakes are kind of, to use, I think this is a tennis term, an unforced error. They're unforced errors, right? That nobody was making you make those mistakes. You were kind of gifting the Florida Panthers a bit. That is kind of what you see. And then game 4, it's not like the Florida Panthers didn't have their moves, right? It's not like they didn't have their guys get in decent positions to score. It's just they had to go earn it, right? And then once they got there, they were being challenged. And it's, the difference between getting blown by and getting beaten but still able to get a stick out in front just to give them a little something to think about, it's huge, right? It's huge. So, yeah, I agree with Edward that, if you can avoid making the unforced errors, if you can avoid making the mistakes that gift things to the Panthers, that does increase your chances quite a bit. But also acknowledge, the Panthers are one of the best in the league at when you make a mistake, making you pay for it, right? When you turn it over, making you pay for it. When you get just a little sloppy with your clearing, making you pay for it. And maybe more importantly, when you, just for a second, your head's not on a swivel, they will hit you, and they will make you remember it. And then you've got something else to think about for the rest of the night because that hurt. That's a big part of hockey. And Canes did a better job of that yesterday as well. Orlov a few times, Martinook, Carrier always does it, where it's just, hey, if you're not looking where you're skating, you might get lit up. And that's a very good thing to have on your side. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, text keyword Luke, Luke, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Luke Bryan, George Burge, Ashlyn Kraft, Adrian Nunez, and DJ Rock at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on June 7th. That is Luke Bryan tickets going to someone out there. All you have to do is text keyword Luke for your chance to win. The number to text, 919-860-5326, the keyword Luke, Luke. Text it in, and you might just win yourself some Luke Bryan tickets. Do that right now. Or later, whenever you're done driving. Keyword Luke to 919-860-5326. We have football at 4 coming up next with a very obvious but under-talked about part of the Panthers offseason. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
It's strange to have an Eastern Conference Stanley Cup final with no real hot bulletin board material, but at least we've retired some of the old storylines that date back nearly 2 decades. There's just one left. Can the Carolina Hurricanes win 4 straight hockey games? If Rod can keep them focused, maybe they still have a shot and beat the odds.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
And we're back talking all things connectivity with Spectrum customers Kev and Melissa. So tell us, how long have you been with Spectrum, and how important is a reliable internet connection?
We've been Spectrum customers since we moved 12 years ago. The first thing we did is sign up for Spectrum Internet.
You get a lease, you get Wi-Fi.
Yes,
immediately.
We need that. We had Spectrum Wi-Fi before our couch got here.
That's true. That's a true story.
I'll sleep on the floor, but I won't go to bed with no internet.
You heard it here. Switch to Spectrum now.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?
Sorry, we can't fix it. Take it to Dauntless.
This year, skip the middleman and take your car straight to Dauntless Transmissions if you want quality work done right the first time. Transmissions, engine, or brake work, or just a regular tune-up. If it's broke, Dauntless will fix it. For quality work done with the kind of experience that works for you, take it to Dauntless Transmissions first. Go to DauntlessTransmissions.com to book your visit today. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Pretty much a washout for us this afternoon all the way through the evening, and cool out there too. High 64. Today is a WRAL weather alert day for some inconvenient conditions through the afternoon. 60 degrees overnight tonight, and tomorrow will be mostly cloudy. A high 77 with a chance for scattered storms in the afternoon and evening.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 740 points to 42,343.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. I'm not sure if I believed I would ever say this sentence. I'm not sure people are putting enough importance on the quarterback. Carolina Panthers this offseason. We are sitting at the end of May, and I think it needs to be said that the whole season rests on Bryce Young's shoulders. We've had so many conversations this offseason, I'm sure many of you had as well, about what the defense needed and how they need edge rushers, or, how are they going to deal without Jadeveon Clowney, or do they have enough corner help, or something like how nice is it going to be that the offensive line is returning every starter? How nice is it that they have a true number one now and their 8th overall pick, Teteroa McMillan? And I'm here to say all of those conversations are contingent upon one thing. Bryce Young being much more the Bryce Young we saw in the second half of last year than the Bryce Young we saw for the first season and a half in the NFL. There is no reason to get excited about really anything on your roster in the NFL if you don't have the quarterback to take advantage of it. There is an unbelievable amount of pressure on Bryce Young. Unbelievable. The Panthers started OTAs today, right? It's the voluntary portion of the offseason. It is a time where Bryce Young, probably for the first time, should be able to run a practice without a coach there on the offensive side of the ball. Right? Rookie year, nobody's going to expect you to it. You're learning as much as anybody. Second year was a new offense. Dave Canales was explaining to everybody, what he expected and what his playbook was going to look like. This year, Dave Canales should darn near be able to stand on the sidelines and make hand signals towards Bryce, and Bryce should be able to run the whole darn thing. And I'm not even saying he should be able to but he probably won't. No, I want him to. I want this offense to be his, because that's the only way any of this is going to work. There's everyone's kind of dodging it. This is the part I'm getting at. There's an article up on ESPN.com right now. It's written by Ben Solak. It is 100 things about the season, right? And there's bold predictions, and there's 10 free agency questions, 10 this and 10 that, and 10 categories of 10. And every single prediction on the Panthers, he almost removes himself from the Bryce Young conversation. So, for example, his bold prediction was the Panthers will go 9-8, be above 500. It's not bold enough? All right. Well, he doesn't have the bells and buzzers, so no one's spot checking his bold predictions. But he said the Panthers will go 9-8. And then the very next sentence is this: I'm not even sure I actually believe this, as I have my Bryce Young doubts. Really? Then I'm confident the arrow is pointed up in Carolina. All right. Next sentence: if there's anything real in Young's resurgence, the Panthers should be fighting for a wild card spot. Every single big positive anything for the Panthers is qualified by, well, I'm not super confident on Bryce Young, but if Bryce Young is great, that seems to be what everybody's doing. If Bryce Young is this, then they'll take a huge step forward. It insulates them from, if the Panthers don't have a good Bryce Young and they look terrible, then you can say, well, I knew that was a possibility. You can see it in all my qualifiers. Well, no. Everything is high, except for unless Bryce Young does. That is, first of all, a little bit of a cop-out on a bold prediction, right? What team out there, if you say, hey, their quarterback is going to play great, how confident are you in their team? There's very few teams that are like, hey, my quarterback plays great. I don't know. I still think we're going to lose a bunch. No, if your quarterback plays great, for the most part, your team's going to be pretty darn good. And everyone is using that for the Panthers. I'm not sure everything else deserves 100% confidence, right? I'm not sure there's every other position there is it's good. As long as Bryce is good, it's good. I'm not sure it's there. But I will join in everybody in saying the range of outcomes for the Panthers changes a ton with the play of Bryce. And by this point, 3 years in, I think most would agree that we know kind of what the physical attributes of Bryce Young are, right? He's as much as you want him to. He's not going to get taller. I don't anticipate him discovering tricep extensions and now he can throw it 10 yards farther. I don't see him. I think he's actually a really good runner. I think he's underrated as a runner as far as shifty and making guys miss. But I don't, he's not going to turn into Lamar Jackson. He's not going to turn into Josh Allen, and you wouldn't want him to. He's a smaller guy. You want to protect himself. But how much he can execute the offense and how much he can raise the level of the guys around him, that's everything for the Panthers. Everything. And think about where we were, not even last offseason. Think about where we were week 6.
Yeah, with Andy Dalton starting.
And, I mean, barring, do people realize, barring a car accident where Andy Dalton hurt his thumb?
Yeah.
I'm if in that game, right? Because I'm not saying they never would have made the switch back to Bryce Young, but if in that game Andy Dalton plays well, or even just average, we may not have gotten Bryce Young back in the game.
Yeah, that was at Denver, was that following game.
And once Bryce took over, a little bit better. Then by the end of the season, he's having the game of his life in the final game and running for touchdowns and throwing for touchdowns and doing everything. That's how thin the margin was for Bryce Young. There's a bunch of you out there, you probably won't admit it now, but when I was saying go back to Bryce just to completely confirm that you're out, right? Because I didn't see any point in starting Andy Dalton. I was like, if Bryce Young is healthy, you play Bryce Young because you need to be 100% certain whether you're in or out. There's a whole bunch of you out there that told me you were already 100%. So I don't need to see any more. We know what he is. I don't need to see any more. Again, you've probably deleted those tweets. You've probably hidden them, and you're not going to acknowledge them. But I saw them, and you know you wrote them. To go from there to now going into this season, every prediction depends on him. Every decision, every prediction depends on that guy. So when we're having off-season conversations, right, the biggest changes, right, the new players, oh, look at all these edge rushers. What I see, Patrick Jones, the incoming edge rusher from Minnesota, 2-year free agent.
Mm-hmm.
I saw he was quoted saying that he doesn't think they're going to miss Jadeveon Clowney. That's a really fun conversation to have, right? Can a 2-year, very, very reasonable cash edge rusher help replace former number 1 overall pick Jadeveon Clowney? Boy, that's fun. Doesn't matter if Bryce doesn't ball out. It just doesn't. In that article, again, the Ben Solak, ESPN.com article, he references Dave Canales, who he feels is a future Coach of the Year player. He references Ejiro Evero, the defensive coordinator, who he references as a future head coach in the NFL. He references so much. I have the list of players here in front of me that Solak says he is higher than consensus on. So, like, the consensus evaluators think they're a B, he thinks they're a B+, right? Just whatever it is, he's higher than. Robert Hunt, Xavier Legette, Tetaroa McMillan, Trevon Merrick, Nick Scorton, Prince Uman Mielen, etc. He threw the etc. on there. All of those players, etc., he is higher than the consensus on for the Carolina Panthers. I mean, if you're higher than the consensus on all of those, you must think the Panthers are gonna roll through the division. Except for he's not sold on Bryce Young. He's not sold on the quarterback. Do you know what it reminds me of? Canes fans?
What's that?
Being sold on everything but the goalie, right? It's like, well, that's a big but. That's a big however in the middle of your sentence. If you're not high on the goalie, I'm not sure I care about how great your third pairing of defensemen is if you're not high on the goalie. Oh, you really love what they did in the secondary and free agency? If the quarterback ain't scoring points, I'm not sure I'm all in. You remember at the beginning of Canes season, right? They had lost a bunch of guys from the previous year, signed some guys to extensions, kind of got cheaper but different in a bunch of different places. The 2 players that I heard most needed to just individually improve were Andrei Svechnikov and Martin Necas. Then they traded away Necas. So I guess you could say Bryce Young is the Andrei Svechnikov. Their ceiling goes as high as Bryce Young goes. And in a lot of ways, the Canes ceiling goes as high as Andrei Svechnikov goes. Which, by the way, Svech was great in the first 2 series of the postseason. They won them both in 5. And then his best game in this series was Game 4. Surprise, surprise. That's the one they won.
Imagine that.
This season will go for the Panthers, I believe, a lot of the same ways, only more obviously than, a winger. It's your quarterback. When he plays well, the Panthers are going to be a much better team. So as much fun and as much as we will talk about every other position, try to make sure we throw in the qualifier. Obviously, it only matters if Bryce Young plays well. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We do have a cup check-in coming up where Adam Gold checks in with a Canes legend. But before we get there, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, Your credit cards, they maxed out. Maybe you're struggling with high interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant appraisals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity, it's yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, gets a cup check-in presented by Carolina Ale House, Adam Gold, and a Canes legend. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
I am not a watcher of Entertainment Tonight or Bravo Network. I don't care about these things. I don't care about the relationship between Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson unless it impacts football. Nobody has made the connection for me that this will impact football. But I will say this, the university can't separate itself from the relationship because Belichick is UNC football.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price of participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Thursday, June 19th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Football legends collide at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Inter Miami and FC Porto. Lionel Messi and Jordi Alba taking on Diogo Costa and Rodrigo Mora. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey. And at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, we understand your concerns when it comes to buying an engagement ring. Am I paying too much? Am I getting a quality diamond? Will she love the ring? Rest assured, we prioritize your happiness as much as the exquisite diamonds we offer. That's why we provide unparalleled guarantees to give you peace of mind. First of all, we offer an incredible 30-day money-back guarantee. Secondly, with our unique 100-day price protection, we promise you'll get the best price, quality, and value. But if you find a better offer, we'll match it and give you 10% of the difference. But we don't stop there. We also offer an unprecedented lifetime diamond guarantee. It's our way of giving you confidence throughout all of your cherished moments. We've been locally owned since 1948 and voted the best jeweler year after year. At Bailey's, we're not just selling jewelry. We're providing a legacy of trust. We invite you to shop with us and experience the difference.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Carolina Hurricanes won Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals, their first win in the conference finals in 16 tries. Feels good to get that metaphorical weight off the shoulders, doesn't it? And with that comes a Canes check-in, a Cup check-in, where Adam Gold checks in with different players, different former players, media members, and gets their thoughts on the Canes postseason run. Cup check-in with Adam Gold is presented by Carolina Ale House, served up by Carolina Ale House, I should say. Head out to Carolina Ale House in Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs. Hopefully there's at least one more of those. The Cup check-in with Adam Gold today, they are checking in with Erik Cole, Canes legend. Here's Adam and Erik, presented by Carolina Ale House.
How do you get yourself in a mindset that we're better than we have shown and we know it, and be able to go out on the ice, on their ice, and keep the series going?
Honestly, like, for me, it would be, I would kind of be letting, like, the frustration turn to anger, and I would play angry in that situation where you know the series is, you're down 3, it hasn't gone your way at all, and even I was kind of frustrated for just being as a fan in Game 3 where the first turnover goes off the linesman's skate. You know what I mean? Like, it's and none of it got talked about, but like, they don't need any other good breaks to go their way. You know what I mean? Like, they've been getting all the good breaks and they've been getting all the good fortune. It's like, man, like, you couldn't have hopped over a puck that was on the ice, like, coming at you. Like, that's what went through my head. Like, because as a player, I was on the walls all the time, and I got to be, really good friends with the linesmen and everything, because I'm like, hey, listen, like, if you're going to be on the wall, like, I'm coming up the wall. Like, this is where I live, right? So that was a little bit frustrating for me. But yeah, I would have turned it to just anger. I would have gone out yesterday and just I probably would have tried to get 10 to 15 hits and just create as much, like, havoc and just try and cause as many turnovers as I could, get to the net, get some touches on Bob. Like, they don't, they need to get to the blue paint more, in my opinion, and put more pucks there. I mean, no goalie likes traffic and contact, whether you're backing up his own defenseman into him, or you get to the blue paint and, their defenseman cross-checks you into them.
Yeah.
It's all part of it, right? Like, I guess I would like to see more of that, and more of the, you watch after every whistle that's around their net, and there's cross-checks and, and little slashes going on, and somebody's grabbing you. I mean, I would be doing the same thing. If there was anytime there was a whistle and a little scrum at the net, I'd be going looking for somebody's face to grab, somebody to cross-check in the ribs. Yeah, just get angry and just start playing a mean brand of hockey.
Once again, that is the Cup check-in, served up by Carolina Ale House. Adam Gold checking in with Canes legend Erik Cole. That seems to be the chorus being echoed by darn near every former player I hear talk about this Canes series. And it's one of the few things that I think the Canes need to, in addition to just upping the talent and the tangible things that they do when they bring in new players this offseason, find somebody who's a little mean. Find somebody that, right, you heard Erik Cole say it, right? Every time something happens and it ends with a group at the Florida Panthers goal, they're looking to cross-check. They're looking to mush someone in the face. They're looking to do that, and the Canes maybe not as much. And Cole was saying that's what he would do. I agree it's lacking a little bit. And I'm just going to throw this out there because some of you may be thinking I'm a hypocrite. I didn't start my hockey fandom that way. I was always somebody who's like, once the whistle blows, just walk away. You don't need that. You can outskate them. Watching the Canes intensely, meaning every single game, not missing a play for the last 2 years since I took over this show, I am changing my opinion. How crazy is that? And yeah, in modern sports media, somebody gathered information and decided to change what they thought rather than just digging in harder and harder. I think unless you're going to eliminate it from the sport, you need a couple of guys that, whether they have to actually do it a bunch or not, are extra willing to throw hands. You need it. I think the teams just play better because of it. I think opposing teams are less willing to push the line when you know you'd have to answer for it. Right? They're less willing to be physical. They're less willing to flirt with the edge of a hit that's dirty or clean because they know, is it really worth me getting my face pummeled in by some big dude on the other team? You just see it over time. I think the Canes need a little sandpaper this offseason. Just a little bit. Just enough. You don't have to become, a boxing team from, I don't know, did they have boxing teams back when boxing was the premier sport in the country? You don't have to go become like a what's Ultimate Warrior, the UFC show back? You don't become a Ultimate Warrior group.
You mean the Ultimate Fighter?
Ultimate Fighter. That's what I meant with. That's what I meant. Right. I'm Team Forrest. You don't have to do that. But I do think they need a little bit of that. A little bit. Just a hint. Well, actually, I think Paul Maurice, he said some version of that the whiskey and the milk, some people drink milk, some people drink whiskey. You can't be a team of milk drinkers. You can't be a team of – it was something like that he said about his team. And
it was a sometimes you got to shotgun a beer. You need sometimes somebody to shotgun a beer.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Sometimes you need a prayer. Sometimes you need a shotgun of beer.
Yeah.
And he thought they had both on their team. And obviously that's a stereotype. But using that stereotype, sometimes I think the Canes have too many prayer sayers and not enough beer shotgunners. But I do think Orlov and Martinook in Game 4, specifically Orlov and Martinook. At times, guys like Kokaniemi or Svech tried to get in the mix. At times, but I think Orlov and Martinook really did a good job of making sure they were the guys for that. I just think, and Erik Cole kind of talked about it, right? I'd be looking to get angry. I'd be looking to mix it up after the whistle. I'd be looking for those sorts of things. Don't go to the box unnecessarily, but, if they're going to do it, match that intensity. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, I can tell you this, for the third straight ladder challenge bet, I'm going to the same place. Let's hit the ladder challenge. How much money are you up to?
I'm down to $10.
Ah ha ha!
No, because
this is a really bad month for us.
Game 2 between the Stars and the Oilers, I just needed over 3.5 goals. Edmonton did their part. They scored 3. Dallas, where were you? You got shut out 3-0?
Yeah.
Yeah, the well's gone dry with the Dallas Stars. Goodness. Got shut out, then you got beat 6-1.
How you like me now?
So I'm back down to $10.
Guess what? I'm up. And I'm just going to make the same bet over and over and over again.
Yeah.
2 bets ago, Connor McDavid 2 or more shots on goal versus Dallas. It hit. Then we took a day off because we were out at the Lenovo Center and we had a bunch of stuff going on, didn't get there. So by the time we were doing the ladder challenge again, it was time for that series to get started again. I took Connor McDavid 2 or more shots on goal, hits again. And then we have a day off yesterday. So guess where I'm going back tonight?
Where's that?
Connor McDavid, 2 or more shots on goal. I am up to $12.50. Again, it hasn't been a good month, but I'm ahead by $2.50. I'm going back to Connor McDavid, 2 or more shots on goal. It's minus 900. Edmonton obviously leads the series 2-1. I think McDavid might be smelling blood and thinking like, hey, this could be the year. And he's not going to just sit by the wayside and watch someone else decide his fate. So whether he scores a bunch or not, although he has been scoring, I think he shoots a bunch. That'll turn my $12.50 into $13.88. Dennis, where are you going for today's ladder challenge?
I'm going to go that same game, Mason Marchment for the Dallas Stars. Just to get 1 shot on goal, it's a minus 600, so my $10 will turn into $11.66.
In that 6-1 game on Sunday, just 2 shots for McDavid? 2 goals for McDavid.
Oh, I thought he had 4 goals, or 4 shots on goal.
He had 4 shots on Friday. That was when I bet on it.
Okay,
Sunday,
yes.
I didn't get a chance to bet on it. But still, it would have hit.
It would have.
So I'm just
Hey, that's efficiency.
He has had at least 2 shots on goal in every game. This is in every game of the postseason, at least 2 shots on goal. Every single one. That is a dangerous thing to say in the gambling world, but I'm feeling a bit froggy, so I might as well leap. Let's go. McDavid. Just for gambling purposes. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's the ladder challenge. We'll keep you updated on it. Right now, we'll keep you updated on a little winners and losers. Fired up.
This team will never lose again.
That sounds like me in the ladder challenge right there. Never going to lose again. Will I? Probably. Definitely not. Winners and losers, this is where we name who won and who lost the last week. We are not just looking for teams that scored more points than the opponent. We're trying to be more creative than that, right? More like winning vibes than winning on the scorecard, although obviously if you win a bunch on the scoreboard, that could contribute. I'll get us started. Winner, UNC Athletics, the Tar Heels as a sports program. You want to hear what they did this weekend? We talked about it earlier. We had a caller during Tuesday's Sound Off talk about it. UNC Baseball won the ACC Tournament Championship, which boosted them to the 5th seed in the country. They're hosting for regionals. Great weekend for UNC Baseball. They beat Clemson 14-4 in the ACC Championship. UNC Women's Lacrosse won the National Championship on a perfect season.
Yeah, undefeated.
4th National Championship for them. Pretty darn impressive. UNC men's golfer David Ford finished the season number 1 overall in the final PGA Tour University rankings, which means out of college, he has secured his PGA Tour card for next year. That is a wildly impressive feat and a really cool part about the way the PGA and college golf have linked up to like connect the two. By playing in college at UNC, he's now a PGA Tour golfer. Doesn't have to go through Korn Ferry Tour, no Q School, none of that. Doesn't have to go to the DP World Tour. Straight to the PGA. And then also, speaking of UNC golf, Ben Griffin, who's a former UNC golfer, won his 2nd event ever on the PGA Tour. The Schwab Shootout, the Schwab Challenge, Charles Schwab, whatever you call it. Do you know what's the cool part about that tournament? You know how, like, you win the Masters, you get a jacket? You win the Arnold Palmer Invitational, you get a plaid or like a cardigan like Arnold Palmer used to wear. Guess what you get Ben Griffin got for winning this tournament? A dope car. A different light blue painted, like classic 1970s car is given away to the winner each year. It's a Thunderbird one year. It's a Bronco from the 70s the next year. I believe you got a Defender. It's a sweet-looking car. Imagine that. Like, oh, you're driving around a new car? Look at that. Pretty cool. Hot rod. How did you go get it at a classic car auction? No, I won it on the PGA Tour. Pull off. It's a great day. And by the way, it's not quite Carolina blue, but it's close. And that's the color of, like, the tournament. Every year it's that color. They didn't do that just for Ben Griffin, but it's close. So UNC Athletics, a winner. Loser? NHL refs. I'm trying to keep this out of the actual Canes talk because I hate when the story is dominated by refs, but there were a lot of head scratchers in that game 4.
On both sides.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue it's okay because it was consistently off, but that's not what you hope for with all of the eyes on like it's an Eastern Conference Finals game, right? I don't think it had a huge impact on the game, but it could have, right? There, I mean, power play goals. Luckily, the penalty kill was doing their thing, but man, there were some, and like, as much as I enjoyed Kachuk getting called for an embellishment, I didn't think that was an embellishment call.
It wasn't.
You brought up the Burns cross-check?
Yeah, I thought that was a bad call as well.
I thought it was like, really? There's just a lot of that. There was a lot of like, nah. I mean, I see what you're trying to make me believe. I just don't believe it. And I'm trying to keep it out of the Canes talk, so I thought slotting them in as losers would be a nice way to kind of address it without acting like it impacted the game. Dennis, do you have some winners and losers you'd like to throw in here?
I do. I definitely have a winner to throw in there. It's Cornell men's lacrosse.
Hey, shout out to the Big Red.
Cornell men's lacrosse. Also, in particular, CJ Kirst, who tied the NCAA record for goals in a season with 82 this year. And again, going 17-1, going all the way to championship weekend, bringing Cornell their first men's lacrosse title since 77. So 48 years. But it was just a fantastic game between them and Maryland. I'm always happy when Maryland lacrosse loses.
I used to actually, I worked for ESPN Ithaca for about a couple years ago. So I still have some old buddies, some old colleagues that cover Cornell lacrosse. I can actually build off one of your stats a bit.
Okay.
You said it's their first men's lacrosse championship since 1977?
Yep.
It's Cornell's first athletics Division I national championship in any sport since 1977.
That's right.
It's got to feel good. Get that, It had been, since like 2009 that the Canes won an Eastern Conference Finals game?
Yeah,
felt like
06, yeah.
It's 06 since
they
won.
They got swept in 2009.
Oh, you're right, because going back to 2009, you're right. I knew that. But either way, that felt like forever. Now think about 1977. And they'd won 3 of them. So it's not like they had a one-off. But I digress. No, shout out to Cornell. We don't need to keep going on that. Winner. NC State basketball's mental toughness.
Okay.
Corey Smith of Pack Pride tweeted this out, I think it was earlier today. NC State has announced 4 new hires for Will Wade staff, Will Wade being the new basketball coach, including Greg Golden as the director of Pack Performance. Ready for this? Golden has had multiple stops with Wade at Chattanooga, VCU, and LSU before working with U.S. Navy Special Operations.
U.S. what?
Navy Special Ops.
Okay.
Your mental toughness is about to go through the roof if you got the U.S. Navy Special Ops Performance coach working with you. Talk about turning yourself into a machine. That just seems like it. We're playing basketball here. Yeah, well, life and death. We're going to the beach. We're going to Wilmington. We're going to have a workout this offseason. Get wet and sandy and carry this log. Run a mile. I need you to put this inflatable boat on your shoulders and run. So you can't see straight, then swim. After that, how is going on the road to Boston College going to be a challenge?
You swam against a shark. I think you can handle BC's pressure.
I need you to go untangle these ropes at the bottom of the ocean. Now, face a press from Miami. Got it. I just thought it was a fun fact about Golden's history. Loser. And I will explain this one, and many of you will feel the pit in your own stomach. Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a Memphis Grizzly. He is a multiple-time All-Star, multiple All-Defensive selection, a one-time Defensive Player of the Year. I don't fully understand all of the escalators and contract maxes where, if you make a certain amount of All-NBA teams or you win an MVP or whatever, you become eligible for the super-duper max. Meanwhile, if you don't, you just get a max contract. On Friday, they announced the All-NBA teams. Jaren Jackson Jr. missed out on All-NBA honors. He was the first player. He was picked 16th when 5 players get All-NBA, 5 players get second-team All-NBA, 5 players get third-team All-NBA, and any of those picks, 1 through 3rd, end up that counts as All-NBA for your contract requirements. Jaren Jackson Jr. was the 16th player in voting, which, if he would have been one of those 15 players that were voted All-NBA, he would have become eligible for a 5-year, $345 million contract. 5 years, keep these numbers in mind, try to remember them. 5 years, $345 million. Since he did not get an All-NBA selection, he is now, I say only in quotation marks, only able to sign for a max of 4 years, $147 million.
It's a lot of money.
$200 million.
It's a lot of freaking money.
And by the way, NBA is not like the NFL. That is fully guaranteed. He would have been eligible for a 5-year, $345 million contract. Instead, because he missed out on All-NBA honors by 1 slot, 4 years, $147 million. So it's not, it's whatever it is, $198 million he's not eligible for, and a year. Do you want to make it even saltier? Guess who was the 15th? The one player ahead of him.
Who's that?
James Harden.
Oh, God.
And do you know how close the voting was?
How close?
JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr., received 52 third-team votes and 1 second-team vote. Harden received 56 third-team votes and 4 second-team votes. Essentially, 7 or 8 people. 7 or 8 voters out of a bunch. We're talking hundreds. 7 or 8 voters held back Jaren Jackson Jr. from getting $198 million more dollars, or at least being eligible for that. He could have been a team player and settled for, I don't know, about $30 million less than he was eligible for, and it still would have been the biggest contract in NBA history. But he's now, again, I put only in quotation marks because it's still $147 million. But now he's eligible for only 4 years, $147 million. Because 7 or 8 people decided to vote for James Harden over Jaren Jackson Jr. That's a loser.
Yeah.
I've got more. We'll do 2 more, 1 of each. Loser. Everyone that already made an 0-16 graphic or saved the perfect quippy tweets that they were going to have in their drafts and fire off as soon as Game 4 ended.
Got it!
You can take all those 0-16 Eastern Conference Finals Canes graphics and put them in the trash, or at least make them 15-1. That's how it goes. Winner? Logan Stankoven.
Oh, yeah.
What a gamer. What a dude. He's got 5 goals this postseason. It's the second most by a rookie in Canes history in a single postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Dude is a gamer.
So the last 3 goals that he has scored, so game 1 against Washington in that series, also in each of these last 2 games against Florida, were all the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes, by the way. And they either tied the game or gave the Canes a lead.
Keep that in mind for first goal scorer predictions tomorrow.
Keep those things in mind. And one of them obviously being a power play goal as well. It's either first goal for the Canes, and they either gave them a lead or at least tied the game.
And
clutch, dude.
I don't want to say this is going to come across the wrong way because scoring is hard. It's easy to stand out when you score a goal. He stands out a lot when he's not scoring goals.
Yeah.
Hustle, willingness to get a little gritty. He's a fun player, man. Fun player. So he's a winner for me. That's winners and losers. If you have some, feel free to let us know in the YouTube comments. Go to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Search for it. Our live stream every single day, waving to everybody out there. If you head into those comments, you can let us know who you thought was a winner and loser over the last week. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. When we come back, there is one particular person on the Canes who continues to be my personal conundrum, a mystery wrapped in a riddle. Did we solve anything in Game 4? Spoiler alert. Nope. Stick around.
It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Here's Svechnikov, 2 minutes remaining. Svechnikov for Angle, he scores!
Let's go, Canes!
Hall all alone, in on Thompson. Hall scores!
Go, Canes!
Wide open, rebound, and what a save by Anderson!
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Heineken Silver is a world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. It keeps things light and refreshing all year round. It's like rain showing up to cool things off and then politely leaving. It's like cracking open a window and nailing the cross breeze. So, as we move into the warmer weather, grab a crisp and refreshing Heineken Silver and taste the difference. Only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Available at your local Heineken retailer or for delivery at Heineken.com/silver now. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
Every season can be punishing for your roof. Mother Nature is a fierce opponent that doesn't take a break, which is why you need RoofWorks on your building maintenance team. Hi, this is Holly from RoofWorks. We specialize in keeping your commercial roof in great condition no matter what the issue may be. We offer roof inspections, roof repairs, and if needed, a full roof replacement. We help determine if there's a problem with your roof and advise you on the most cost-effective way to handle it. Contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
Kachuk loses it. Carolina with a chance. Empty net. Jarvis across. Svechnikov hands it off. Empty net. Bingo! Carolina. Sebastian Aho drills it. And it's a 2-0 lead for the Canes with 2:11 left here in the third period.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, where I continue to have the most confusing appreciation for Sebastian Aho. I am befuddled. I am flabbergasted. That's not the right word. I am confused. Because I acknowledge and understand that Aho can have a great game that impacts winning in a lot of ways without scoring, right? It's at times the thing I like about him most is that he does everything, right? Where some superstars are like, and I'm not subtweeting or hinting at specific players, but where some players are like, hey, I'll be on the left wing, go ahead and get me the puck and I'll shoot it. And then everything else y'all can take care of because I'm pretty good at this one thing that I do very, very well. Aho is the opposite. Aho's like, what do you need me to forecheck? You need me to back check? You need me on penalty kill? You need me on power play? You need me to hit? You need me to pass? What do you need me to do? You mean face-offs? What do you need me to do? I'll do it all. I get that. But I find myself more and more screaming at the television, shoot it, Aho! This is your moment, man. This is where you shut up the haters. Shoot it. And very little does he listen to me. And I don't want to, pretend like, because I do not have this super inflated ego. I do not want to pretend like I know more about hockey than Sebastian Aho, because I don't. And he makes the right play so darn often that I feel foolish yelling at him, but I can't help it but yell at him every time anyway. And Game 4 was no different. Just shoot the obvious ones. And try to do the cool thing where you go bar down, or try to do the cool thing where you really snipe because you have that ability, that puck control. You're that good. How many times are we going to have some kind of a 2-on-1, 3-on-1 rush where the Canes have the puck in Sebastian Aho's possession? This is position A. If you get to choose where to put the puck as a Canes fan, you want it in Aho's possession with multiple guys, good numbers, on a rush. And they don't even get a shot off because they're trying to make the perfect pass. Aho is trying to set up his teammate for the tap-in when all he had, the defense, the one on getting back, isn't taking away your shot. You have to make them take away whoever has the puck, you have to make them take away what you have. You got to shoot the puck, Aho. But then at the end, you look at the game, and again, if you're just looking at it as a whole, you're like, actually, I think Aho had a pretty good game. Right? His plus-minus is usually in the plus. His defensive metrics are usually really good. He's usually pretty good in the face-off. You look at all that, and you go, all right, am I really that upset that he didn't take 2 shots that I wanted him to take? Yeah. It's so, and by the way, Svech had one yesterday where you got the look. You're Andrei Svechnikov. You are, I don't know if he still is. At one point in time, you were the second leading goal scorer in the entire postseason. Don't make a difficult pass to set up Robinson. No disrespect to Robinson. Right? Pull the trigger, shoot it. There's a weird, disconnect for the Canes between all they do is get shots on goal, right? That's their whole thing. That's what they're known for. All they do is get shots on goal, shots on goal, shots on goal. And then they have the situations where I'm like, this is the great opportunity. And they're like, let's pass it 7 more times, and then maybe we'll get a shot on goal. Shoot it. I want you, Svech a few times last night. Well, I saw Taylor Hall do it once or twice last night, right, where they're skating around behind the goal, and then they're kind of doing I'm just going to cycle it, turn and shoot, which I like it. It's a good little fake out, right? It's like the no-look shot. Get a shot on goal. Who knows? Maybe Bob, who blocks it, isn't super ready to catch it, and it's a rebound, whatever it is. I like that. But then they're on an odd man rush. And the defenseman that's back is trying to play 3 different dudes, and he's not committing to any of them. Pull the trigger and shoot, please. Please. There was one opportunity. 6.5 minutes left, maybe give or take 10 seconds. In the game, 1-0, right? This is pre-empty netters, where 1 goal, goodness gracious, would it have been a big play. Aho had it going up the right side, had a step on his man. No one with him, right? This was not a 2-on-1. This was him with a step on his defender, and he's got the speed to keep him there on his hip, coming up the right side. And it almost was like a reluctant shot. I guess if no one is here, I'll have to shoot it. And I don't, maybe it's a body language thing because he's a little bit more low-key than some others. But I'm looking at him going, why are you not the most excited person on the planet to have that opportunity? You're what I consider the best forward on the team, and you have a chance to score the goal to go up 2 in an Eastern Conference Finals staving off elimination game. And it was well, I guess I'll try. Boop. I don't know. There's just it's very, very difficult for me to understand Sebastian Aho. Acknowledging, again, did a lot of really good things. Matter of fact, here's Aho yesterday after the game talking about, the chances they did earn, but also how well they played back in their own zone, which is another way that Sebastian Aho impacts the game without scoring. Here's Aho.
Yeah, I thought we played a good game, but I think we played really good defense as well, and I think we made hard plays and, kept them off the good scoring chances. And obviously, I felt like I had at least a couple, 2-3 good looks that would like to see go in, but their goalie played really good, and as long as we keep creating, they're gonna go in eventually.
He does so much to help win, and I don't want to downplay that. And by the way, I will acknowledge this. It is a privilege. It is a luxury to be at times frustrated with someone who plays the way Sebastian Aho plays. Right? It is matter of fact, I'll even go with this, right? Like Canes fans that have been really frustrated with the way they're playing. That is a luxury, to be upset with how your team plays in the Eastern Conference Finals. Right? That is a luxury. That's kind of where I put Aho. Like, it is a luxury that somebody can play that well and still feel like they're leaving change on the table. But it feels like you're leaving a lot of change on the table. And I don't want to, it's the conundrum, right? That's what I call him. He's a conundrum to me. Because I don't want to come in here and be negative because I know all the things he does. But then, you see that shot, or not that shot, you see him pass up that shot, and you can't help but yell, shoot the puck. To the point where, and I don't think this is what it was. Whoa, just hit my microphone. I don't think this is what it was, but that empty netter, the first one, where Jarvis made a really good play, gets it ahead to Svech, and for some reason Svech makes a really weird pass to Aho right in front of the net when Svech could have just skated it over there himself. And Aho makes kind of a tough receiving of the pass, but then does score. I tweeted something out that basically just said, that was a lot of passes before the empty netter. Made me a little nervous, but it went in. And one of the reactions that I got multiple times were fans saying, I think Svech knew Aho needed that one. I think Svech knew Aho needed a confidence booster. That would be a lot of thinking in a very short kind of reactive portion of the game, right? Svech didn't have the puck for 2 minutes. He had the puck for half a second. But the fact that fans were going there kind of makes me think that the body language thing I'm talking about is not just seen by me, right? Aho, from a goal-scoring perspective, doesn't seem as comfortable snapping off shots as he normally is. And I don't know why, because he's really gosh darn good. And these moments call for the really gosh darn good players to chase big plays. The one with 6.5 minutes left could have been the dagger.
It could have been.
Instead, the empty netter ended up being the dagger.
Here's the thing, though. We saw guys try and chase big plays in Game 2, a la Andrei Svechnikov, and what happened? That's when the Canes get out of sorts. This is where Sebastian Aho actually holds things together.
Chasing a big play was the wrong way to put it, and I'm glad you brought it up. It's when the big plays come to you, accept them. Right? When you have a 3-on-1 or a 2-on-1 and the one, right, the defenseman isn't taking away your shot, the universe is telling you, be the hero, right? It's not press and do what we saw some of Svech doing, which was chasing the big play even when it wasn't there. Mm-hmm. The frustrating ones for Aho aren't, because there were some power plays yesterday where it felt like he was being active, but goodness, they were not getting shots off. And those weren't as bad, right? Where the announcers start going, minute and a half in. So far, they have one shot on goal in this power play. And I'm going yeah, but I didn't really see a ton of opportunities for them to make it happen. It's just when they're presented on a platter to what you consider your best forward, I want it. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe I'm being too negative on him right now, and I don't want to be, but that's the conundrum of it. I want to have these conversations while acknowledging he does a lot of good.
His mindset is always, I want to be responsible defensively first.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been his mindset. He doesn't mind matching up against the other team's top center or another number 2 center and shutting that person down. He relishes in that. If you actually look at Aho's line yesterday with Jarvis and Svechnikov at 5-on-5, their expected goals against, 0.01. 0.01. That's and that's in over 8 minutes of ice time at 5-on-5. That's dominating, controlling play. Which is what he wants to do.
I'm gonna take a page out of Rod Brindamore's playbook. What was it, 2 games ago, where Aho passed up a 2-on-1 and then Brindamore put him on the stall line, flipped him with stall. Like, the beauty of Aho, the reason why he is so good is because he can do both, right? He is somebody that can lock down defensively and also lead a scoring line. If you want to be the grinded out line, if you want to be put out there with the opposing team's best scorers and eliminate them, we'll put you with Martinook and Carrier, and you can do that. But I misspoke and said he should chase big plays. I don't think he should do that, and I think part of his genius is he doesn't do that. When they are on a platter sitting up on a golf tee for you, get out the driver. Like, stripe one for us. That's all I'm saying. And also keep doing all the other good things that you're doing because you're a really good player. Like, it's a conundrum wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a riddle. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the starting 5 coming up next, including everything we know about the injured players and when they may or may not return for the Carolina Hurricanes. Stick around.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons at 12:15 and 4:15 for our Cup Check-In. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Adam Gold talks with hockey's best, past and present, bringing you the latest insight on the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the Cup Check-In on 99.9 The Fan. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs, or visit carolinaalehouse.com/Canes.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low 5s, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowe's.com/lowest price guarantee.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. A messy day out there today on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. Showers are likely to continue tonight with a few storms around as well. Lows get down to about 60. Scattered showers and storms possible Wednesday with a high of 77.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell up 740 points to 42,343.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five, as it always is when we're on the air at 5 o'clock. And as always, we start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Great game, guys. Step by step. Get ready for the next game.
That was the post-game speech in the locker room by one Alexander Nikishin for the Carolina Hurricanes. Nikishin, as it has been widely publicized, doesn't have an extensive history of speaking English. So stepping up in a post-game locker room and giving a speech, as brief as it was pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. He was given the puck for his first NHL point as he assisted on the Logan Stankoven goal. Dennis, I'll lean on you for this because I haven't been able to check all the latest during the show here the last 2 hours. Do we know anything about the availability of, obviously the most important would be Jalen Chatfield and Sean Walker, but anyone else going on with the Canes?
The only thing that we know is those guys were getting treatment when Rob Brindamore was talking today, and that's it.
That's
no practice today, so it's hard to really tell.
Genius by the Canes.
I would say doubtful.
It does feel like they went all out to get Chatfield ready for game 2, and when it didn't happen, they said like, all right, we gotta shut him down and figure out maybe a longer way to get him back and ready. But that's just me kind of reading tea leaves and think it might be a minute. The more interesting question is, Alexander Nikishin, now that he's played really well for a game, I think as long as there is an injury to one of the top 6 forwards that we're used to seeing, which means either Chatfield or Walker are out, I think Nikishin gets a chance. How high is that ceiling? Like, how high can he go? And meaning how quickly? Because the reason why Scott Morrow played the first couple over Alexander Nikishin is because of how Alexander Nikishin looked in Game 5 of the previous series against the Caps, right? He made some mistakes that didn't add up to being ready for the level. So they went with Scott Morrow, someone they knew a little bit more, they had seen a little bit more, had been in the system a bit more. I'll tell you what, the difference between Game 5 against the Capitals and last night for Alexander Nikishin, that's one of those like on pace. You know when someone hits like 3 home runs in one of the games the first week of Major League Baseball and they start doing like, he's on pace for 112 home runs this year. If Alexander Nikishin between every game or every couple games he plays improves like he did from Game 5 to last night, I think he's going to be the best player in NHL history in like 2 months of play because he like doubled or tripled his value from Game 5 of the Washington series to last night. How quickly can he continue to build on that becomes a really interesting question because in a lot of ways, I'm not sure even he knows how physically talented he is. The thing that stands out to me, like, does he have great vision? And even early in the game, not only did he have the pass that set up Logan Stankoven for the goal, He made a little cross-ice pass to get it to Taylor Hall, open for a shot, and Hall wasn't able to get his best shot on it, and Bobrovsky ended up making the stop and covering it up. But, like, in that next dead period, Taylor Hall made sure to go to Nikishin and give him a little tap, like, hey, that one's pretty good. Just to show, like, it wasn't one lucky pass. He was setting guys up, and his vision was there for the entirety of the game. It's just, you make 5 good passes, one of them gets hammered home. That's a great day. He's talented, and his physical gifts show up in a weird way. He can hit with the best of them, right? We've seen it. The thing that surprises me is when other guys try to hit him, like when the opposing team tries to check him into the boards and he doesn't see it coming, and the person that thinks they're going to hit him ends up on the ground. That is like, oh, whoa, this guy he's built like an oak tree. Like they run into him and they fall down. And then he turns around and looks down like almost like, oh, sorry. Right? Like, I don't know. He's like coming around a corner in an office building. And, when 2 people are walking fast and they don't see each other coming around the office building and one always takes the brunt of the hit, like he's always the one that's like, oh, sorry, didn't mean to level you. Only he's doing it to, like, NHL defenseman, not Gary from accounting. And he's playing in one of his first NHL games ever, and he's, 23 years old. Like, it's noticeable. Rod Brindamore yesterday was asked if he should have stuck with Nikishin from Game 5 when he made his debut in the last series. Here's what Rod had to say.
Well, if he played like that, yeah, for sure. I mean, we went to him, and it was a rough first outing. So, and obviously he's seizing the moment right now.
He's seizing the moment right now. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear. By the way, Nikishin to Stankoven for a goal. It's like a time machine. You're looking at next year. Or, quite frankly, the present. You're looking at last night. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9. The Fan, that was number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Shout out UNC Athletics, the Tar Heels. There was a kind of narrative or a common comment when the ACC welcomed Stanford, Cal, and SMU. There was a lot of talk about like, ooh, look at all these national championships you're bringing in with Stanford, right? And it was all, not the TV watching sports. It was all the Olympic sports and the non-revenue sports. And it was like, Stanford wins so many national championships. UNC was probably sitting there going like, guys, we already do that. UNC women's lacrosse, NCAA champion. Perfect season completed this past weekend. Any national championship has cool little add-ons, fun facts. But how about a freshman who is the coach's daughter scoring in the national championship game? How about 3 sisters, 3 of them, all playing on UNC at the same time as they go undefeated and win a national championship? Family affair with the Tar Heels. It is officially, I think I saw it's the 14th time UNC has won multiple national championships in the same school year. That's pretty darn good. Specifically, UNC women's sports, absolutely dominant. UNC women's soccer, UNC field hockey, UNC lacrosse could all make a claim as one of, if not the premier program in their sport. Dennis, I don't usually do this, but I'm looking at you through the producer, and you're smiling at something you're reading, and
this is it's just seeing comments of people. There's things I can't repeat on air,
like vulgar things.
Yeah,
right.
Hence things I can't repeat on air.
I didn't know if it was like there's personal information or something. All right. We'll just keep cruising then. UNC Athletics. Not only did UNC Women's Lacrosse win the NCAA championship over the weekend, UNC Baseball won the ACC championship over the weekend. They're hosting a regional. UNC Men's Golf, David Ford, finished the season number 1 in the final PGA Tour University rankings, which means he has secured his PGA Tour card for next year, which is awesome. And Ben Griffin, a former UNC golfer, won his 2nd ever PGA Tour tournament which is worth a smooth $1.7 million, 500 FedEx Cup points, and just wildly important towards your career as a PGA Tour golfer. So UNC, for the week, you get to brag quite a bit. If you win, you get to brag. I'm big on that. If you win, you get to talk trash. I'm big on that. Had to put some Caps fans in their place over the weekend because they were making fun of the Canes after
Caps
Game
fans
3.
have zero room to talk.
I was like, you know what? Canes haven't played well games 1 through 3. This was before Game 4. They've been outscored by a bunch. They've given up some funny numbers, right? 5, 5, and 6. The Canes probably deserve some ribbing. Probably deserve some jokes. Caps fans can't be the ones to make the jokes, though. Right? If Panther fans wanted to text me, I'm like, all right, I got to eat this one, right? To the winner goes the spoils. I got to wear this one for the team. Caps fans, though, I don't know. You're at home. So that's kind of what I'm getting at here, right? UNC, as an athletics program, you got some trash to talk after this weekend. A lot of good things happen for you. That's number 4. Let's hit number 3.
For the infield in. Best skies this one. Left center. Canales back at the wall, and it is gone! 2-run shot on a skyscraper from Tyson Bass.
The 64 teams in the college baseball NCAA tournament have been decided. They have been sent their regionals, meaning they have been sent their assignments and who they'll be facing off in their little pods of 4 all the way across the country. When you look at the field, right, 64 teams, there are 29 conferences represented. Only the SEC has more than the ACC. The Atlantic Coast Conference has 9 teams that have made the bracket. That's what it should be. I'm not saying they should be behind the SEC, who has 13, but I'm saying, look at basketball, right? 9 is about where the ACC should live. That's where I'm 9, 8, 9. That's what I'm okay with. Got to get back there for basketball. The teams, Clemson, Duke, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Miami, NC State, UNC, and Wake Forest. Now, if you want to look towards the regionals, I'll give you where at least the local teams have ended up. State is the 2 seed in the Auburn region, hosted in obviously down there in Alabama. Auburn will be facing the 4th seeded Central Connecticut State squad. 2 and 3 will be NC State versus Stetson. So I believe Stetson's a South Carolina school, right? I think I had a buddy that played lacrosse there that I went to high school with. I think it's in South. It might be Florida. It's either South Carolina or Florida. Dennis is Googling, I assume.
Florida.
All right, never mind. I have another friend that played. There's a Pfeiffer. Where's Pfeiffer?
Salisbury, North Carolina.
No, that wasn't it. There's somewhere in South Carolina that they went to play lacrosse, but
okay,
never mind. North Carolina's hosting. Carolina's hosting. So in Chapel Hill, they are the 1 seed. They'll be facing the 4 seed Holy Cross. 2 Oklahoma, 3 Nebraska in that Chapel Hill regional. And Duke will be headed to Athens for Georgia. That's where Georgia's hosting. They're the 1 seed, taking on 4th seeded Binghamton in that regional. Duke against Oklahoma State. Duke the 2 seed, Oklahoma State the 3 seed. And that's it for the triangle.
And East Carolina's heading down to Coastal,
right?
As a 3 seed. ECU's got to take on Florida in a 2-3 matchup, and Coastal Carolina the host.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this. They won the AAC tournament.
They did. They won the American.
They were the 6th seed in an 8-team tournament?
I think so.
And they won the whole darn thing to punch their ticket.
ECU's good at baseball.
That is, clutch as heck. They waited till the last possible moment to start dominating that conference, and now they get to go test themselves out in a regional.
By the way, I think it's dumb that SEC has the top 4 seeds overall in this tournament. The SEC does?
Yeah.
I'm like, what, Carolina can't be the 3rd seed? I don't know. They won the whole ACC tournament.
And they were good before that. It's
not
like
great.
they won it as a 6th seed in an 8-team tournament. They were very good. Granted, Georgia Tech was the 1 seed. I also think, hold on, let me make sure I get this right, because I saw somebody complaining about it, which means it's always right.
Of course.
Yeah, Georgia Tech doesn't even get to host a regional. They were the 1 seed in the ACC tournament, and I believe made it to the semifinals.
In Florida State?
No, Georgia Tech was the 1 seed.
Oh, Georgia Tech, sorry, yes.
Georgia Tech was the 1 seed. I believe made it to the semifinals of the ACC tournament. They're not even hosting. They're the 2 seed in Ole Miss's bracket. They went 40-17. And it wasn't enough to host a regional.
Make it make sense.
I like 9 teams. I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with where they were put, but hey, now you get to settle it on the field, right? Go win it. I don't care where they sent you. Do the ACC basketball thing, which is like, you're only going to give us 4? Cool. We'll take up a fourth of the Final Four every year, at least. I don't care if you give us 2 teams, 8 teams. We're making the Final Four. It's my favorite part of the ACC. Once you have to settle it on the court, pretty darn good. Once you have to settle it on the diamond, be pretty darn good. That is number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the 2 of us.
Holmgren a 3. Good. Chet Holmgren in his hometown of Minneapolis hits a triple. 7-point Oklahoma City lead with 6:58 to go.
So a lot of conference final basketball was played since we last had a show on Friday. The Pacers beat the Knicks on Friday night to go up 2-0. Felt like there was something dramatic happening there where the Pacers were just better than the Knicks. We'll come back to that. Then Saturday, after OKC looked unbeatable in Games 1 and Game 2 in the Western Conference Finals, the Thunder won by 40. Sorry, the Timberwolves beat the Thunder by 40. 40. 42 if we're being exact. So it felt like that was a whole new conference final. Stick a pin in that. We'll come back to it. On Sunday, the Knicks beat the Pacers. So much for that 2-0 lead by the Pacers. Nope, not this time. They get the win. Absolutely necessary. A huge comeback. They were down, I think, 10 going into the fourth quarter. And basically the Knicks don't start playing till they're down 20 because they had another big comeback. Which is, I guess, impressive, but also just do that from the beginning and you'll have way less stress. Then Monday night, last night, the Thunder beat the Timberwolves by 2 to take a 3-1 lead. So it was Thunder win, Timberwolves railroad them, Thunder win close in the Western Conference Finals. And do you know what's the I don't know, most interesting part about that? In a game where you could have tied up the series, right? Go down 2-0. You could have come back and tied it. Anthony Edwards has the history or the reputation as he's like the Kobe or the Jordan, right? He's this fierce competitor. He doesn't care if he's friends with everybody else, like, oh, the super team era. Guess what Anthony Edwards did? 16 points on 13 shots. 5 turnovers, 6 assists. That's not enough. In a 2-point loss, my guys, right? There are certain, and there's going to be a bunch of them from around here. But when you're in media, when you cover certain players, particularly before the pros, you get like your guys, right? Like, oh, I knew him when, I covered him when, he was cool in an interview. Dante DiVincenzo for the Timberwolves, I covered in high school. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I covered in college when he played at Virginia Tech. Both were always good to me. They combined for 44 points off the bench. Both went 5 of 8 from 3 for the Timberwolves. And the Stars couldn't finish it. I'm looking at you, Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert. I need you guys to have bigger games because the bench was trying to carry them. My guy, Salesianum High School, Dante DiVincenzo. Have I told the DiVincenzo story? This is I don't know what I was expecting, but I was going to cover a high school basketball game. And I'm like a local radio, right? High school basketball in Delaware, especially back in like, this would have been 2011, 2012. Not the most readily available information. But when I said I was going to cover this school, everybody said the same thing. Everybody you get to see Dante. You're going to get to call Dante. You're going to get to call Dante. All I knew was he had a bunch of offers. So I show up, and I don't know what I was expecting. It wasn't a redhead. I'm just calling what Dante goes through the legs and dunks. Dante, I wasn't. So I showed up, and they come out for their warm-ups, and there's nobody that looks, at the time he was probably like 6'2". I think he's gone up to like 6'4". I was like, there's nobody that looks that. So I turned to the guy, I was like, is Dante here? He went, yeah, look at the guy in the back of warm-up lines. The first thing he did in layups, because the refs weren't out yet and you were allowed to do this, was catch it off the backboard and windmill it. And I went, there's Dante. He had like 35 points and didn't play in the fourth quarter. And you know who his big man was that was setting all the screens? Starting right tackle for the Minnesota Vikings, Brian O'Neill. Just setting screens and watching Dante work. It was really, they won the state championship. So anyway, those guys played great off the bench. Anthony Edwards couldn't finish it. That's how I choose to tell that story. Tonight, Knicks-Pacers should be really fun. Knicks need to win to tie the series. Pacers need to win to avoid feeling like they're crumbling. That's number 2. Let's hit number 1.
The one! Nikishin back in his own zone makes a nice play away from Rodriguez.
Nikishin looks the part again. There he goes.
Now he'll backhand one up. Stankoven. Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven. And for the first time in this series, the Canes have a lead.
That's what it sounded like as Stanky gave Canes the lead, as you just heard Mike Maniscalco. It was game 4. It wasn't exactly right out the gates either, but it was the first time the Canes had taken the lead. And everything up to that, the first 30 minutes of that game, Canes played really well. They played Canes hockey. They possessed the ball a bunch. They were out shooting the Panthers about 2-1. Like, it was very Canes hockey, but the score was 0-0. And you did get the feeling that it's like, if they don't get one to the back of the net soon, this is how things unravel for the Canes. And then Nikishin past Stankoven, they score, and you know how it finished. For the details beyond what I just gave you, here is our very own Adam Gold with something we call 2 Minutes of Gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for 2 players who were stars in Game 4 and another player who was just too much as the Hurricanes stayed alive in the series with a 3-0 win, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. All right, the first 2 players, man, it should go without saying, but Alexander Nikishin, the big Russian kid who has played now in 3 NHL playoff games, never an NHL game, was one of the real stories of Carolina's 3-0 win. Not only was he solid on the defensive end, and he was solid, he makes this play to Logan Stankoven.
Nikishin back in his own zone makes a nice play away from Rodriguez.
Nikishin looks the part again. There he goes.
Now he'll backhand one up. Stankoven. Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven. And for the first time in this series, the Canes have a lead. It's 1-0. Carolina on another bullet by Logan Stankoven.
Nikishin with his first point in the NHL. What a pass he made across the ice to the red-hot Logan Stankoven, who goes top cheese for your first lead in the series.
The pass was arguably better than the shot, and the shot was elite, as Stankoven continues to be arguably Carolina's best forward so far in this series. Look, that's not a high bar to climb, because the Hurricanes have not been great offensively in this series. They have scored just 7 goals, 2 of them into an empty net. But that was an elite shot. Remember, Stankoven scored the goal that got Carolina even in Game 3. Then he goes just off the inside of the near post and off the back bar to beat Bobrovsky. That made it 1-0. And how about that? Carolina has the lead for the first time. That Nikishin pass, though, was next level. Now for the player who was just too good last night as we continue the twos, Jacob Slavin. 28 minutes, 6-10, shorthanded. Carolina was shorthanded for 8 minutes. He played 75% of the shorthanded minutes, and he was a star. Don't believe me? Ask Alexander Barkov.
Alexander Barkov trying to turn. Slavin takes him down to the ice neatly. Schmidt will keep it in across for Bolinski's. His shot through traffic. Rebound was available as it was off the catching glove of Anderson.
What a play by Slavin. Saved a goal after being physical on Barkov.
That play summed up number 74's night. He was the best player on skates. No second place. He was that good. They're going to need that going forward. But look, we get a 5th game of the series. We get to watch a hockey game Wednesday night at Lenovo Center. Whatever happens, happens. The Hurricanes gave us one more reason to love them. With over 20 years in the business, Parkway Sleep Health Centers are the Triangle's top sleep provider. Parkway Sleep Health Centers, sound sleep, sound health, sound off for a Game 5 and another chance to watch Jacob Slavin do his thing.
That's 2 minutes of gold with Adam Gold here on 99.9 The Fan. We didn't say that, but it goes without saying. Every game the Canes win, whether it leads, obviously we hope it does, to a super dramatic, super awesome storybook, come from behind, from down 3-0 to winning the series, going on to the Cup, like whether it leads to that or not, every game they win is another opportunity for us to watch Jacob Slavin work. And you'll never hear me complain about getting to watch a technician at the top of his game play one more. And it's not like the Panthers aren't challenging him. He just answers the challenge so often. Put Barkov into the boards. Come back and stop the shot with just how often can the announcers say the same thing, right? Unbelievable stick placement from Jacobs. Oh, look at that Slavin on. Oh, look at the Slavin. It's Dennis, did you ever do play-by-play for football?
Oh yeah.
You know I used to think this is funny, and it's actually there's like either a stand-up comedy or an SNL bit in here somewhere. The thesaurus that you need as a play-by-play guy, especially you've done high school, I assume. Like that's where most of my experience is. They run a lot of like dives up the middle for 4 yards in high school, and you don't just want to say, tackled after a 4-yard gain. So brings him to the ground gets him down, wraps him up, right? Twirls and throws. Trips him up. Like there's just a billion different ways to say like, hey, they handed it off, it went up the middle, and the guy gained 3 yards. He's going to claw forward for an extra 1 game of 4. That feels like you need the thesaurus for Jacob Slavin because it's like, another block shot, another tipped away pass, another deflection. You just don't want to say over and over again the same thing, so you got to come up with a bunch of new ways to say it. And that's why Mike Maniscalco is who he is, because he has the goods to make it sound fresh. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we grab our numbers game contestants, let's hear from Dennis Cox. Dennis, what do you have for us?
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, you may be maxed out on your credit cards. Maybe you're struggling with that high-interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a massive turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. Give them a call, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need numbers game contestants. And today, the prize, a $25 Sharkies gift card. Sharkies with back-to-back wins for best wings in the Triangle, voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharkies. $25 Sharkies gift card goes to whoever can win the numbers game. We need 2 contestants. Call in now if you want to play. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to play the numbers game and potentially win a $25 Sharkies gift card. Numbers game coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Move your sports day forward.
It's strange to have an Eastern Conference Stanley Cup final with no real hot bulletin board material, but at least we've retired some of the old storylines that date back nearly 2 decades. There's just one left. Can the Carolina Hurricanes win 4 straight hockey games? If Rod can keep them focused, maybe they still have a shot and beat the odds.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Support for The Fan comes from Paramount Pictures presenting Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Smart people on every side are close to panicking.
Every choice, every mission has led to this. Tom Cruise is back as Ethan Hunt in his most challenging mission yet.
I need you to trust me one last time.
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. See the movie audiences are raving about in theaters and IMAX now. Don't miss your chance to see the movie of the summer.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. TNCs apply.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone! Come back! It's my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life! Come back!
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Hey, how long will this take?
Just 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Get out. That's super fast. Super fast like a F1 pit stop.
Sir.
Huh?
We're all done. I even topped off your fluid and checked your tires.
But I was so close to the finish line.
Get in and out fast with Take 5, the stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change. And check out the movie F1 starring Brad Pitt, only in theaters June 27th. This film is not yet rated.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. Prize for today, $25 gift card to Sharky's. Back to back to back to back. Wins for best wings in the Triangle, voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharky's. The contestants for today, Micah in Morrisville and Ryan in Wendell. As always, I'll ask the same question, both contestants. Dennis will be the judge. Pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. Micah, we will start with you. Micah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. The question is, normally we do this on Mondays, but we didn't have a show on Monday. So you had the long weekend. What was your favorite part of the weekend, the highlight of your weekend? But because we're a sports show, make sure it's sports related.
Does Monday night count as a holiday or no?
Our judge is giving you the nod. He's saying yes.
Okay. Then last night, the Canes forcing in Game 5, Nikishin stepping up, Slavin just rocking people and absolutely locking everyone down. So yeah, that in summary.
All right, and I think that's a hint towards what category you would pick if you do get chosen. Ryan and Wendell, you are up next. Ryan, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, what was the highlight of your long weekend, your holiday weekend? And because we're a sports show, keep it sports related.
I'm going to go with my Wolfpack basketball signed Darion Williams and looking good for next year. So I'll go with that.
That's
Canes is a close second, though.
That's a good one. There's a couple good ones for you to choose from, Dennis. Which one gets the nod?
I love that they're both local. I really do love and appreciate that. But I will say this, the immediate satisfaction of a Canes win last night, I'm going to go with Canes on that one.
And I actually think Darion Williams, the commitment was before the weekend, if we're being technical.
Yeah, that's fine. It's still
just still celebrating it.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. So what does that mean? Micah gets to go first. Ryan will go second.
Yeah, we'll take Micah first.
All right, Ryan, stay on the line. You will have your chance. Micah, are you ready? Pick your category.
Yeah.
The categories are NFL, F is for, meaning all their first names start with F. NFL, I'm at least 35 years old and active, kind of speaks for itself. NBA players that were at one point or another Chris Paul's teammates, or NHL Hurricanes only?
Canes only.
All right. The way this works, I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, I'm good.
All right. By the way, for this category, I will say the team, even though we know it, just because we keep it easy or keep it even timing-wise with the other categories. Since there's no questions, we'll go ahead and start when you hear the horn. Scott Morrow, Carolina Hurricanes.
4.
Incorrect. Mark Jankowski, Carolina Hurricanes.
77.
Correct. James Reimer, Carolina Hurricanes.
31.
Incorrect. Scott Morrow, Carolina Hurricanes.
56.
Correct. Jan Hlavik, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Wade Brookbank, Carolina Hurricanes.
58.
Incorrect. James Reimer, Carolina Hurricanes.
47.
Correct. Jan Hlavik, Carolina Hurricanes.
8.
Incorrect. Wade Brookbank, Carolina Hurricanes.
22. I don't know.
For Jan, we were looking for 20. That was the number we were looking for. And Wade Brookbank, we were looking for 28 if you were playing at home. You got Morrow. You got Jankowski. Did he end up getting Reimer? He got Reimer. All right, so you got 3. Solid showing, Mike. I know you're always hunting the perfect scores, but 3 is solid. Go ahead and stay in line. We'll see if it holds up.
Sounds good.
Ryan and Wendell, you are up next. Ryan, are you ready to pick a category?
I'm ready.
All right, the categories are NFL, F is for, meaning their first name starts with F. NFL, at least 35 years old and still active. Or NBA, at some time or another, they were Chris Paul's teammates.
I'll go NFL 35 and older.
All right, I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Kirk Cousins, Atlanta Falcons.
8.
Incorrect. Travis Kelce, Kansas City Chiefs.
87.
Correct. Johnny Hecker, Carolina Panthers.
6.
Incorrect. Kirk Cousins, Atlanta Falcons.
12.
Incorrect. Johnny Hecker, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Russell Wilson, Pittsburgh Steelers.
3.
Correct. Trent Williams, San Francisco 49ers.
72.
Incorrect. Kirk Cousins, Atlanta Falcons.
9.
Well played. It just sometimes you don't know him. Kirk Cousins, we were looking for number 18. That's what he wears with the Falcons. 8, he had worn at other stops. You got Kelce. Hecker, we were looking for 10. Russell Wilson, you got with 3. Trent Williams, you were close. You said 72. We were looking for 71. Unfortunately, not enough for the win, but hopefully you had some fun.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Go ahead and try again another day. That means Mike in Morrisville, you are the winner. Congratulations.
Thank you. I got thrown off when you guys said Morrow. I was honestly like shook. But yeah.
You threw 4 out there, which was a...
I don't know why. I was just trying to get to the next one. I was like in awe.
knowing you, 4 being a different active player, I was surprised. But hey, you gave it to us. And Dennis just told me it's your birthday tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it is.
I mean, Micah in Morrisville's birthday on a Canes game day. I think we know what you're going to be wishing for when you blow the candles out, but you don't have to tell us. Stay on the line. Yeah. Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get the prize and happy birthday. There you go. Micah in Morrisville having a birthday. How awesome. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will look towards Micah's birthday. Really what's going on Micah's birthday. We'll look towards Game 5 next. Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of a Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included. Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Alexander Barkov trying to turn. Slavin takes him down to the ice neatly. Schmidt will keep it in. Across for Bolinski's. His shot through traffic. Rebound was available as it was off the catching glove of Anderson.
What a play by Slavin. Saved a goal after being physical on Barkov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Do you know what is maybe the best part and the worst part about, like, playoffs? Game 4 means nothing. The existence of a win in Game 4 means nothing. At the time, it meant everything. Think about that. When the Canes were scratching and clawing and bowing their neck against all odds and everybody was counting them out and they won Game 4, nothing was more important than that. Going into Game 5, it means nothing. You don't get to start with an advantage because you shut them out. No. The desperation that you had for Game 4 has to be nearly identical as Game 4, maybe more. Actually, probably more. Because now Florida doesn't feel as comfortable with a 3-0 lead now that they have a 3-1 lead. The desperation, and I do think as much as athletes say, oh, we don't listen to the noise, oh, we don't hear it, they do. Maybe not as loudly as some fans would like, but they're aware that, the entire hockey world is reminding you that you haven't won an Eastern Conference Finals game in a billion tries, and they wanted to end that streak, and that was part of the desperation for Game 4. Right? Even if we don't win the series, let's make it so the next time we get here, they can't say it's been since XYZ. It's been this many days since it's been this many losses in a row. Like, let's win that. So I like the weight off their shoulders element of that. The streak is no more. They won't be asked about it. In the postgame, Rod Brindamore seemed pretty pleased when a reporter was like, hey, Nobody's going to ask you about the streak anymore. How's that feel? And he was like, I hadn't even thought about it, but it was pretty good.
It's funny. Slavin was like, wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. You don't have to ask me about it.
Fantastic. Because there's really, there's nothing interesting or insightful to say. It's like, oh, I hope we win the next one. That's all you say. I hate it. Yeah, okay. Most of the players were like, well, the first part of that streak happened when I was in elementary school. So, I don't know. But also, right, as much as I like that is taken off their plate, I don't want them to play like they accomplished anything in Game 4. I want them to play as desperate and as, hey, whatever's necessary in Game 5 that they had in Game 4. Right? I think a matter of fact, let's hear from Rod first. Let's hear the audio. We have Rod Brindamore earlier today on the mindset of still being on the brink of elimination.
I don't really think it changes. Like I said the other day, if you're up 3 or down 3, what are you going to try harder? Everybody's trying the hardest, and everybody wants to win that next game. To sit there and go, yeah, of course we can't win 3. I mean, obvious. And it is, maybe you can focus a little more on just – I think it frees you up more to just know, there is no tomorrow. There is no – you have to, do everything you can. Like I said, I don't think it's suddenly now we're trying harder. That's not it. But maybe it's in your mind, hey, we know there's no tomorrow. We put everything out there, and that's kind of what happened last night, I guess.
He's right in that I don't think there's a conscious – it's not like you weren't doing things in Game 3 intentionally because you're like, well, we don't have to be as desperate because we can lose one and still play. I don't think it's that, but we've seen it enough through sports history that when you are facing elimination, there is some other gear that you didn't know existed. And that's just human nature. The hard part is doing that for 4 or more straight games. There is no more, you can have a hiccup. And there's a high wire act to that, right? No more safety net. Which is exciting. It is. I will say this. I'm not sure if Game 4 is the blueprint. It was really fun. It was really exciting. It ended up in a 3-0 win. You will not hear me complain about it, but I do think you're going to have to score more than 1 goal against Bobrovsky in order to win Game 5. Right? As awesome as Freddie and the Blue Liners were, and as much help as the forwards gave, back-checking and the like, the Florida Panthers are good enough that they're gonna score a goal. Right? You're not going to make it out of this series with a whole bunch of essentially 1-0 wins, which essentially that's what it was, right? It was 1-0 until they pulled their goalie, then the Canes took advantage. It's you're going to have to play better. You're going to have to play more desperate. You're going to have to play more urgent. You're going to have to play better. And that's part of the goods, right? That's why playoffs are so fun, is pretty much no matter what happens, if you're playing another game, the stakes get higher. The effort you put in to beat the Devils probably wouldn't have been enough to do the same thing to the Caps. The effort you put in against the Caps darn sure wouldn't be enough to get a bunch of wins against the Panthers. The effort you put in Game 4 probably isn't enough to win Game 5, but you have to find another level if you want to continue playing hockey. If you don't want to be on a boat somewhere, by the end of this week, you got to find another level somewhere. And it's fun for the fans to see if they have it. See how deep you can go into your own competitive spirit. And see, I think a really good example of Game 4 is desperation. And by the way, he's not, I wouldn't put, if you're given 3 stars or whatever, I don't think he's really in the mix. But I think Shane Gostisbehere was a really good example of that Game 4 attitude. Right? Dennis brought it up to me off air, and I think we talked about it on air earlier. Gostisbehere's out there killing penalties.
Yeah.
Gostisbehere's out there blocking shots. Gostisbehere's out there trying to be physical. And his game is quick. His game is Iverson crossover. His game is quarterbacking the power play, right? That's where he's trying to find himself, to set himself up for success. But yesterday it was what do you need, coach? Alexander Nikishin, who has been in the NHL for a blink, was out there killing penalties. He doesn't speak English, or doesn't speak it very well, right? Speaks very limited English, and the power play is the ultimate, the penalty kill is the ultimate. You have to be able to communicate, right? Constant conversation on who you should be marking and how do you switch and all of this. And it's not like he was out there with Pyotr Kochetkov in net and Dmitry Orlov with him, where there'd be a handful of guys out there, at least a couple, that could speak his language and communicate to him. No, he's out there with Freddie Anderson and whoever else was killing penalties. It was very much an all-hands-on-deck situation for the Canes in Game 4, and guys were willing and able to go out there and do their best. Was it always the prettiest? Nope. Did they keep coming forward, keep making plays? Yes. And it's funny how, just the conversation, right? And I traditionally do listen to Mike Maniscalco and Trip Tracy, but when it's on these national broadcasts, I don't always sync it up. I know I can, but, sometimes it's easier to just turn the volume on. And to hear, especially the intermissions, where they just start throwing out buzzwords that have been associated with the Canes. If I hear one more time, they're skating on their toes, and kind of agree with them, obviously. But it's and then you think of, not only are they skating on their toes, but they're skating on their toes with a weird assortment of penalty killers out there, right? What was it, the second period where they had to kill a penalty? I think it was the first 1 minute and 49 seconds of the penalty were right at the end of the period. Then they had to play 11 into the third. That is such a massive kill in a 1-0 game to end a period where you're tired, right? You're going towards the intermission. It probably feels like it was a 20-minute penalty kill rather than a 2-minute or a 1:49 penalty kill. And then you look at it, and the Canes are putting unusual penalty kill combinations out there, and there's no excuses being made, and it's just, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. What, the Aho needs 30 seconds in the middle of this one before he has to come back out here? I'll go out there. I'll figure it out. You need that energy all of Game 5, and probably more of it. Probably more of it. Right? I love that the fourth line isn't out there settling. I know that was called back for offside, but they're yeah, we're the line that if we have a 0 ±, it's a great day. No. Robinson's flying up there, and he's trying to set up Jankowski, and he's burying the shot versus a guy who has been darn near unbeatable in Bobrovsky. Jankowski beat him. It didn't count, but he beat him. That's not somebody, or falling back into their role or saying, it's my job just to kind of be out there and grind. No, everybody's trying to do a little bit more. And you need that in Game 5, probably even more so. And what you did in Game 4 doesn't give you a leg up on any of it.
By the way, Shane Gostisbehere averaged 11 seconds of game shorthanded this season. 11 seconds per game. That's just under. He played in 70 games this year. That's just under 13 minutes.
And we probably
total the whole season.
And we probably didn't acknowledge this enough. Sean Walker didn't play.
No.
Jalen Chatfield didn't play. Those are two guys that everybody had to scramble and, hey, I'll block a shot, right? I'll pitch in. I'll do something. It was very much a team win, and you need all of that. You need all of it. And the Panthers are going to be better in Game 5, I promise you. Canes have to be better in Game 5 also. We'll talk about it more tomorrow. Hopefully from outside the Lenovo Center, we're waiting on the weather. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're passing you to more Canes talk, more reactions to Game 4 on Overdrive. And like I said, we will see you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be on the plaza outside the Lenovo Center, pending weather. We have equipment that needs to stay dry. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Enjoy Overdrive.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Here's Svechnikov, 2 minutes remaining. Svechnikov puts up angle, he scores!
Let's go, Canes!
Hall all alone, in on Thompson. Hall scores!
Go Canes!
Wide open, rebound, and what a save by Anderson!
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey, and at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, we understand your concerns when it comes to buying an engagement ring. Am I paying too much? Am I getting a quality diamond? Will she love the ring? Rest assured, we prioritize your happiness as much as the exquisite diamonds we offer. That's why we provide unparalleled guarantees to give you peace of mind. First of all, we offer an incredible 30-day money-back guarantee. Secondly, with our unique 100-day price protection,